Okay, welcome back everyone. How was your Diwali? Hashtag CA students. What do you expect? वैसे I don't know whether you are in touch, but I did some blasting, some dhamaka for CA inter का students during this Diwali. नहीं मालूम ना? You don't have any general knowledge. It's okay. It's not. तेरा काम हो गया? Very good. चलिए. Excellent. Let's go ahead. We are doing this after a gap and short term memory loss तो आप लोग पहले से हो, तो अभी now it is already long term, so it will become long term memory loss. इसलिए there are certain things that you need to answer. Only then we will be actually in a position to proceed further in the chapter. For example, first question, chapter is, thank you, the third head of income in income tax as well as in our classroom. Only house property we did first, and then थोड़ा time adjust करने के लिए we have done clubbing का chapter before PGBP. But right now PGBP and capital gain, precisely these two are the biggest chapters of your syllabus, and now we will be having breakless and breathless lectures for the next what we are in the last week of October till the first week of December. My syllabus in the same timetable is going to get over. उसके बाद में you can of course continue with your other subjects. Coming back to the point, PGBP third head of income, charging section. Section 28. If you have income from business or profession, business means sale of goods or profession means sale of services. Income tax does not distinguish between them. In the eyes of income tax, business or profession is going to be same. It will be taxable under this head. But what will be taxable? The net profits, not the sales. Income tax will always come on the net income, never on the gross sale receipts. That is indirect tax. Net profit of business or profession. And that so we get in PNL. PNL we are making in the 11th standard. So what am I going to teach you? That PNL will contain errors. It's our duty to rectify those errors, and that is the difference between an accountant and a chartered accountant and auditor. He will make the accounts with mistakes. Your job is to rectify that mistakes. So start your PGBP computation with the net profit as per PNL, which in our mind we know it's the wrong profit, but on paper we will write the net profit as per PNL. Make the following 4 corrections. 2 add side, 2 less side. Add side 1 income, 1 expense. Less side 1 income, 1 expense. Accordingly, expense 1 on the add side, 1 on the less side. Income 1 on the add side, 1 on the less side. Any expense which is debited but disallowed, so you have to add it back. Income which is taxable but you have not written, taxable under this head, by the way, so you have to add it. Likewise, income which you have written but you should not write, maybe because it is exempt or because it goes in other heads, so you less. An expense which is allowed but you forgotten to debit it, so that also you subtract. In the act they have given us only a limited data, that is allowed and disallowed expenses. The act gets over with this, but your sums cannot get over with this. Your task is to do the full thing. That is where you are going to get your marks. Correct again? So we decided that in the law we have only allowed and disallowed expenses, and we started with section 30. Rent, rates, taxes, repairs and insurance of which asset? Building. With only one, actually throughout this chapter there is only one condition to get deduction of expense. Expense has to be incurred for the purpose of business or profession, because both are covered here. 31 mein we did only repairs and insurance of plant and machinery and furniture. Same, only one condition used for business or profession. Rates and taxes so can't come here, but rent can. Till now it is not covered. In future we don't know. Which brought us to the biggest section of the chapter, that is section 32, the deduction for depreciation. 2 conditions and you get deduction of depreciation. The 2 conditions are owned and used. Owned and used. Owned includes hire purchase, matlab you have made part payment, still okay. And use includes kept ready, matlab passive. If you satisfy these 2 conditions, you get depreciation on tangible ke intangible. Both, except goodwill, where you will not get. Land pay you will not get, and cards imported up to 2001 you will not get. 75 to 2, because we are interested. Dekho, 75 ka car at present anybody is using, that's a big question mark. But 2000 ka car can be used even today. So I said up to 2001 it won't. Okay. Then if there is an amalgamation that has taken place, so you have to apportion on the basis of number of days between the old company, new company, or the predecessor and successor on the basis of number of days. If the cost of the asset is more than 10,000, then the payment has to be made through banking channels, that is account pay check, account pay draft, electronic mode. We wanted to prohibit cash. If you pay more than 10,000 in cash, so depreciation on that asset is going to be disallowed. Forever you are not going to get any deduction on the cost of that asset. We did this point. And then we came to those 3 points which is going to decide what we have to learn in depreciation ka section in detail. One, accounts allows you any method. You do whatever you want. Anyways, the depreciation as per accounts or any expense as per accounts is not relevant. We have to see, is it at par with tax? If it is same, then no need to do any effect. And if it is different, to disallow accounts wala, matlab add as per books, and allow tax wala, that is less as per tax, which is creating that song, add as per books, less as per tax. You all remember the lyrics also. Okay. So you all didn't spend much time learning Kesariya ka lyrics over the Diwali vacation. Very good. Add as per books, less as per tax. Correct hai? Okay. ठीक है. Whole world के लिए for tax purposes WDV block asset method is compulsory. Depreciation on the block of asset WDV method. Only power generation, only tangible, and that also optional can follow SLM. And then for manufacturers we also have additional depreciation. We have finished SLM depreciation of power generation. Business twist comes only when there is sale. And depending on selling price, if it is less than WDV to terminal depreciation. More than WDV up to original cost to balancing chart, matlab PGBP, and more than original cost will go in capital. Excellent. Then we have finished the full concept of, if I am not wrong, block asset method. We took one big example. Let me remind you of that example. One big example. Can you see this? अरे ये तो start हो गया. हाँ के तक जाता है. So all the concepts we studied in this one example of block asset method. Do we remember anything we purchase will get added? Anything we sell will get subtracted. Till the time there is quantity and amount, we will not calculate any gain or loss. Gain or loss will be adjusted in the amount of depreciation. But if the quantity goes away or the amount becomes negative, then we will have to calculate gain or loss. Selling price will be whatever is the selling price actual. Cost price will be opening plus purchase is the value in the block, and this will always be treated as short-term capital gain, never long-term. But I said ignore that part. Short-term, long-term will be taught in capital gains ka chapter. Here you are interested in knowing that capital gain will arise only when there is no depreciation, and as long as there is positive quantity and amount, there will be depreciation. And all the possibilities we took care of, selling price more or less, quantity all sold, some sold, everything was taken care of. Correct or no? The full block asset method also we completed in the last lecture, and we have drawn this conclusion that when all assets are sold, it can be gain or loss, anything. But when some assets are sold, only gain can come when the selling price is higher. When some assets are sold, it can never be loss. Some assets are sold to quantity hai. Selling price is less to amount hai. Then there will be depreciation. Then we don't need gain or loss. So loss can come effectively only when all assets are sold. When something is sold, it can only be gain or nothing. Matlab depreciation. But it cannot be a loss. With which we finished the second part of our depreciation ka provision. And we are now left with the third part. The concept of, first of all, this is section 32 only. मतलब I don't want any confusion. Sir, additional depreciation मतलब section 33. नहीं! Additional depreciation का deduction is also given in section 32. 1, 2A. मतलब can I say section 32 subsection 1 clause 2A? Or legally you know how we call it? Clause 2A of subsection 1 of. That is how we say it legally. समझा? We are getting the deduction. Sir, are we supposed to learn clause number and subsection? Hey, first you learn section number 32. पहले वो करो. वो हो गया, then put more effort. And वो हो गया मतलब not here. Full syllabus. All chapters का section numbers. Once that is done, then put some effort for subsection and clause, which even at final people don't. So chill करो life में. But you should know that additional depreciation का deduction is allowed. किधर? Section 32, it's the same section. It has some relevance, I'll tell you what in some time. But we are now going to give the deduction of additional depreciation to the assessee. Some logical part of this I had told you, I don't know whether you remember, but I would like to remind you. Additional depreciation ka deduction will be allowed only to manufacturers. Manufacturers will include power generation, because think about it that way. Is power generation also manufacture of power? Yes, sir. But surprisingly, along with that, they have included distribution activities also. Matlab, you are not generating. From the place of generation to the consumer, you have laid down distribution channels. They are not manufacturing anything, but we want to provide some additional benefit to power sector. Already we are giving them one extra benefit in the name of SLM. We want to give them. Otherwise, this is only an exception. Otherwise, if you see, so power generation is also manufacture. So if I don't write it separately, actually manufacture ke andar it is already covered. Correct or no? So power generation business is included in manufacture. You have to only learn kya? Additional depreciation is allowed only to manufacturers. Manufacturer bol diya matlab everything is taken care. Yes, only for manufacturer. If I don't know whether you remember, I have told you the logic. We want to reduce our dependence on imports. India cannot have a blanket prohibition on Chinese imports. Because did I tell you that Indian festivals are celebrated more in China? Yes, I told you, no? So we cannot have that ban. The only thing that we can do is strengthen our own manufacturing sector, that automatically consumers don't depend on imports. It will take a lot of time, because now that you all have studied little bit costing, I don't know whether you all have still studied cost sheet or no. Every product has got some cost. Okay. So we decide that I have to decide at what price I have to sell this. So uske pehle I have to find out cost, because it has to be cost plus something which you call profit margin. Correct or no? So there will be some direct material that is involved. There will be some direct labor that is involved. Together it is known as prime cost. Prime cost matlab the most essential cost of making anything. Correct hai? Yes. China mein that direct labor is dirt cheap. The labor is so cheap, it is almost zero, which is why material becomes their only main cost compared to the Indian market, where labor is very, very expensive. You want to hire someone only to do cleaning work for your small office per month. No, somebody who you want to hire, you can't hire at less than 12,000-15,000 rupees as of today. Only cleaning work, nothing else. No talent, unskilled labor. That is how. And usme bhi, if not working properly and you lay off, so local political parties ka people will come. Kashala kadla re, amcha mansala. They will come. In fact, labor is a big problem, and plus our laws also support the labor, because they are the ones who vote. Businessmen don't have time to go and vote now, which is why competing with them is difficult. So somewhere we need to provide a conducive environment. We are giving extra deduction. Use your brain. There is one assessee which is getting depreciation ka deduction. With this, profit will get reduced. And there is another assessee who is getting more deduction. The profit will get further reduced. Do you understand? Further reduction of taxable income means a further reduction of tax liability. Correct or no? So this benefit will be given only to manufacturers. So if I am a, let me see this, trader, so normal depreciation milega. Owned and used, owned and used, owned and used is enough for normal depreciation. But you want extra, so only manufacturer, trader will be disqualified from this additional depreciation. Normal he will get. Are we clear? Chaliye, let's go ahead. Additional depreciation will be given only on plant and machinery. So think of it logically. Which is that asset which is used to manufacture that product jiska quality we want to improve to reduce dependence on imports? Plant and machinery, no? So we want to give you benefit only on that limited asset. Yes, you can always argue, sir, plant and machinery ko bhi install karne ke liye I need factory. No, I can't install machinery on the road. So factory ke building pe bhi they should give. But they are not that generous. They are like, we are giving you itna, take it. So this will be given only on plant and machinery. Therefore, supposingly if I have an office, we can call it building. We know this, no? Part of building is also called building. So one office is our building only. Supposingly we have furniture in our office. On these assets, normal depreciation. Owned and used, owned and used, owned and used. What will we not get? Additional depreciation. So, only manufacturer, only plant and machinery. There are 4 conditions. So, condition in point C, condition in point D, and finally in point T we will get quantum. एक होता है fulfill the conditions to get additional depreciation. And after I do that, sir, कितना मिलेगा? That is given in point E. So we'll have to talk about that also in point E. But let's finish the conditions first. Your plant and machinery should be an eligible asset. Some assets have been expressly declared to be ineligible. And this is a small list given. The list is there in the textbook. I suggest you should read it once. Abhi nahi re, ye bhau aata nahi. Abhi nahi. Pehle let me complete. Option 1, you learn the list by heart, memorize, ratta, mug up. Option 2, I am giving you some examples of ineligible asset. Can I say for getting additional depreciation, my asset should not fall in this list?
Yes, sir.
Correct? Dekho example. Supposingly, you have purchased motor cars. Brand new motor cars for your day-to-day business activity. And you are in manufacturing business. Is condition 1 fulfilled?
Yes.
Is condition 2 fulfilled? It falls in the definition of plant and machinery. Ka definition is very wide. Except building or furniture, everything is plant and machinery. I told you, no? ACs will fall in plant and machinery. Books also fall in plant and machinery. I am not joking. हाँ ठीक है, उसका depreciation का rate is also same. You want to make same block or different block, that is your choice.
So I have a lot of building and plant. Lot of times the commonly of the interest.
No. Ulta plant and machinery you can interchange. Building means your premises and plant and machinery means the machine that you have installed over there.
Like this is a manufacturing plant setup here.
So you are only referring to your machinery. That's only a reference to machinery. It does not refer to the premises. You will say, मैंने नया factory लिया है, उसमें नया plant setup किया. That's the full statement. समझे? Okay. So motor cars, it is machinery going by income tax का logic.
Yes,
You will get normal depreciation owned and used for business. But question ये है, is it helping me in manufacturing those products which are reducing dependence on imports? Motor car में product manufacture हो रहा है, तो such assets we want to disqualify. So we have kept them in the list of ineligible. थोड़ा और बोलता हूँ. Supposingly you have ships and aircrafts. So for example, a company has purchased ships, aircrafts. किसके लिए? For the travel of its directors, for the travel of its auditors, their articles, lol. But the company has purchased. It is plant and machinery and you are manufacturer. But is it supporting the manufacturing activity? Nahin na. So we don't want to give additional on such asset. Normal you take, no. Normal you take, no problem. What do we want to disqualify or what we don't want to give you? Additional. So additional mein we are making it ineligible. So to get additional depreciation, I hope you understand, my asset should not fall in this list.
Yes, sir.
Chaliye. One last example I will do, and I think it will sort out what you have to or how you have to approach this particular list. Supposingly you have some office appliances. Okay. Say you are running a very big factory. तो फैक्ट्री है मतलब you are manufacturer. Condition 1 is fulfilled. But along with factory, can you also have a corporate office for doing your admin work, sales work? क्योंकि factory will always handle only which part? The manufacturing वाला part. Non-manufacturing activities के लिए corporate office also will be required. In that office there will be white collar admin staff. उस white collar admin staff के लिए you have installed one coffee machine in office. Button दबाओ, that powder वाला tea coffee का machine. Is it plant and machinery? Of course yes. Are you in manufacturing business? Yes. But now what does your logic say? I am not saying eligible or ineligible. What do you think? Should such assets be given normal depreciation?
Yes.
Yes. Additional depreciation?
No.
Because they are not supporting my manufacturing process. So, read karna hai to read in textbook. If you don't read, just ask one question. Is it supporting the manufacturing process? Is it that machine which is used for manufacturing that product which we are going to sell? So, iske liye no. But for in general any machine, you just check that if it is used for manufacturing your product, so additional will be given, otherwise it won't be given. Samjha? So, with this you can avoid the task of memorizing that list also. But of course in the textbook the list is given to you. So, condition 1. Bolo? Manufacturer. Only plant and machinery. Eligible matlab should not fall in the list of ineligible given. Fourth condition, it has to be new. New मतलब क्या नहीं से, if it is second order. So no, interpretation है इसलिए I am writing in a different color. Law says what? New होना चाहिए. That means what? Second hand not allowed. So if I buy any second hand plant and machinery for manufacturing purposes, normal depreciation, yes. Additional depreciation, no, not allowed. First tell me, have you understood the first condition and its logic? We want to support manufacture. Yes. Second condition and its logic. Third condition and the logic. Yes, fourth condition but not the condition is clear. Logic is hidden in my quantum of additional depreciation. Logic is hidden in the quantum. Once I tell you the quantum, you will come to know the logic. Okay? So accept the logic part of the fourth point. Are we in the first 4 points, which are basically 4 conditions to get additional depreciation? Are we clear about the conditions and their logic except the fourth wale ka logic? Yes, all 4 conditions ka meaning and 3 ka logic clear hai? Yes. Only manufacturer, only plant and machinery eligible, new. Bolo ek baar. Only correct hai? Correct hai na? हाँ. What is the quantum of additional depreciation? We will get additional depreciation at 20% of the cost of asset in the year in which the asset is put to use. Active or passive. Use all throughout includes passive. Kept ready. When we say use means kept ready for use is covered. You will get 20% in the year in which it is put to use. Apparently, your brain is probably telling you only this much, that what is additional depreciation ka percentage? 20. By the way, on plant and machinery, do you remember what was the rate of normal depreciation? 15%. 10 was for building and furniture. Intangible ka 25 tha, but plant and machinery ke liye. Acha, there was 40 ka also, computer software, printer, scanner, books, all this will come in 40%, correct? This is 20. So compare with normal depreciation. Don't compare with 10 or 40 or other. Compare with this asset. This asset ka normal depreciation is 15. Additional is, apparently your brain is probably identifying only this one difference. 15 is normal, 20 is additional. 15, 20, 15, 20, 15, 20. But mitro, other than this quantum percentage ka difference, there are 2 more differences between normal depreciation on plant and machinery and additional. Kya? Difference number 1. If I have to compare, no? If I have to compare with normal depreciation, do we know that normal is not 20, it is 15? This one difference we have identified. Correct? Second difference. So no, normal depreciation is never given on cost, it is given on qualifying amount. So opening plus purchase minus sale. Look here, opening plus purchase minus sale is qualifying amount. We opening plus purchase minus sale. Opening plus purchase minus sale. We calculate normal on that final amount. Additional will be calculated only on the purchase part of it. Only on the cost of the asset. Only on that. Not on qualifying amount, mitro. Not on qualifying amount. Acha, ek kaam karo. Come to the previous lecture where we did block asset method. ठीक है? We did block asset में we took example of furniture. So obviously additional depreciation cannot come on here. Let's assume that it was a plant and machinery ka block. So can I say normal depreciation we are calculating on this figure, which is the qualifying amount? Additional will be calculated on this figure. The purchases for the year. Purchases ke upar. Now can you identify the second difference? And third question, iske liye you have to first answer what I am asking. Trick question hai, think before you answer. Normal depreciation is available how many times? Every year till the time your block is in existence. Superb answer. Very good. Every year? Jab tak block hai, tab tak every year we will get it. Additional depreciation is available only once. When? सुनो वापस I'll show you. The year in which you have, I'll come to that example only in this year. Understand the logic. Supposingly this was a plant and machinery block. Okay. Opening we took, purchases we added, sales we subtracted. We get our qualifying amount. Can I say this is that amount on which normal? On the assumption of this being plant and machinery. Original example mein it was furniture, so there is no additional depreciation. So ye hai normal. Additional will be calculated on this cost price 1955. That also everyone understood. But only in this year. Next year, the asset has खून में मिट्टी मिट्टी में खून. You can't identify the asset next year in this block. Year of purchase, you have separate identity also for half rate purposes. Anyways, we are going to maintain separate identity. Array short term memory loss, purchase during the year used for less than 180 days. That is why in the year of purchase, we are going to keep the breakup of more than 180 or up to 180. Less than 180 or greater than 180, we are going to keep that data. So that year on those purchases, you apply additional depreciation. Next year, you get normal only on this. Unless you have more purchases, that's a different thing. But on this asset, you get depreciation of additional only once. That's the third difference. So, please quickly identify the three differences between normal and additional. Your brain is probably initially was telling you only normal 15, additional 20. But two more differences. Normal depreciation is calculated on qualifying amount. Additional depreciation is calculated on cost. Normal depreciation is given how many times? Every year. Additional will be given only in the year in which the asset was put to use. And somewhere in this lies the logic of this. First, I will cater to that logic so that our four conditions with logic will get over. Right now, fourth condition ka logic is remaining. So first, I will cater to that, finish that off. Okay? Then we will revise the four conditions, revise the quantum, and there are about 3-4 more points to be studied under additional depreciation. We'll finish that. Okay? Supposingly, I am in plastic manufacturing business. Kaun sa business? Plastic manufacturing business. Being a manufacturer, if I buy new plant and machinery in my business, will I be eligible for normal, owned and used? And 4 more conditions. I am manufacturer in plant and machinery. New hai and eligible hai, used for my manufacturing process. I'll get additional. Matlab one thing is clear. 2 plus 4, 2 plus 4, 2 for normal, 4 more for additional. ABCD. I am eligible. Correct hai? Chaliye. No one is a Marwadi here. No? कोई बात नहीं. Gujju bhai. He is also in plastic manufacturing business. The strongest competitor of mine. Matlab the market is 50-50 between the two of us. 50-50 market share we have. Itna strong competition. The moment he came to know that I have purchased a new machinery, he has no choice but to purchase the same machine. Then only he will be able to make the same products as mine. So he also purchases the same machine. Will he also get normal and additional both? Matlab both of us purchase a machine, we add in our block, we get normal on the qualifying amount of the block and additional on the cost of this new machine. Year 2, will both of us still get normal depreciation on the block value? Yes. And additional depreciation on the cost? Nahi milega. No additional depreciation because that is allowed only in the year of idea. I call him. बोला तुम तो बहुत होशियार निकले यार. I was तो creating एकदम माहौल background. सुनो, I call you. बोला काम है तेरे से, माहौल बनाने दो. काम है. बोला रुक, I'll call you back. He's scared, no? What if I am threatening or something? First he downloads call recording software, etc. Then he calls me after 10 minutes. बोला बोल. He does not know कि पीछे Google is saying this call is now being recorded. मैं बोला देख, we are the two biggest competitors in the market. I know that you always think that जितना जल्दी I die you get the full market share, but I am not that kind of human being, so I don't think the same about you. But I know you think about me like that. But क्या है? Let the competition remain in business. Okay? When it comes to dealing with the government, let's get united. और in Mumbai language, मिलके income tax वाले का कर डाल. बोला how? I sell my machine to you, you sell your machine to mine at the same price because both are 1 year old. Same value है दोनों का. Can I say we will both make each other का ledger account in our books? You know what? I have to debit your account with the amount I am selling to you and credit your account with the same amount I am buying, and both these amounts are same. So we don't have to give or pay any money to each other. Some are like, हाँ sir, लेकिन machine तो shift करना पड़ेगा. नशेड़ी machine also you don't have to shift. There is no identification mark on the machine. So no need to move cash, no need to move machine. Just pass 2 entries, one purchase, one sale. That also of the same amount from the same person. So both amounts will cancel each other and machines also don't move. तो सर इसका फायदा क्या? I'll explain. Opening plus purchase minus sale. ठीक है. These two are same figures that we right now discuss. Same amount पे. तो ये तो cancel each other. So do you realize qualifying amount is same as opening WDV? The normal depreciation won't get affected. It would be same whether we do the transaction or no. But so no, by showing these purchases. Na. देखा ठग लाइफ? I think you all have understood the logic. Some are like, हम तो बहुत जल्दी समझ गए थे. The moment you said we are competitors, तभी we understood. You were not required to go into so much detail. But habit है ना? Okay? And सुनो, you understood it at one go. But there are people who will watch these lectures for 1 year. Everyone is not so fast, no? समझा क्या नहीं? Everyone is not same, no? What special talent you have, only you have. Everyone does not have that same talent. What special talent I have, only I have. Everyone does not have that same talent. What special talent he has, only he has. Always thinking about tax evasion. तो सबके साथ जस्टिस करना है ना, unless it is a private tuition when you are dealing only with one student. तू समझ गया, चल आगे चलते. You understand or no? तो private tuition में होता है. One student बोलता है, sir, I am willing to pay for the entire batch. भी कितना लोगे बोलो? There is an X amount that is being charged for that. तो वो बोला सर समझ गया, तो ठीक है, let's go ahead. But now everyone has understood why second hand not allowed. Otherwise, Akshay Kumar. Correct or no? Yes. हाँ. तो ladies and gentlemen, finally we are done with the 4 conditions and all 4 का logic. Very quickly. What are the 4 conditions? पहली बात तो 2 conditions to get normal depreciation. Owned and used, owned and used, owned and used. And 4 more conditions to get more depreciation. Correct है? If we fulfill 4 more conditions, we get more depreciation. कितना? 20. But that's not the only difference. 15 and 20. 15 on qualifying amount, 20 on cost. 15 on qualifying amount every year after creating the block every year. But 20 on qualifying, 20 on cost only once in the year in which the asset is put to use. Anyways, next year the asset will be a part of the block. We will not have any identity also. Not possible to give additional depreciation. समझा क्या? चलिए. Now, next point is where what I was telling you at the beginning now. Mitro, this is not some new section. We are still doing that's the section 32 ka hi part is additional depreciation. If you understood that, so you will understand what is happening here. If an asset is purchased during the year, one thing everyone knows, that for additional depreciation, so there has to be purchases which are getting added in the block. And matlab plus sign matlab cumulative condition used for less than 180 days. Does these 2 conditions ka existence cumulatively affect your normal depreciation calculation somewhere? Kya? Matlab half rate. Whatever is allowed uska half rate. Do we also remember that if the sales are more than those purchases, in a way that qualifying amount becomes less than the purchases, so first preference is given to half rate wala depreciation, first half, then balance full, correct or no? That half rate ka rule is applicable for the deduction that you get under section 32. Half rate ka rule is applicable for section 32 ka deduction. Is normal depreciation section 32 ka deduction? So will it be restricted to half? Yes. is additional depreciation. Section 32 का ही deduction. Yes. So this will become half. 10% is half only, no? 20 है तो 20 is becoming 10, so it becomes half only, no? So additional will be restricted to also half, because this is where that thing matters. That this is also 32 and rule is for 32 wala section. Is that clear? But here actually it will become a little unfair and unfortunate for the assessor. I'll tell you how. Okay. Take an example. Supposingly you have opening 5 lakh rupees. Okay. Add purchases which have been used for less than 180 days, 7 lakh rupees. Let's assume there are no sales. Now on this 12 lakh of qualifying amount, you will calculate depreciation. Normal depreciation will be 15%, but will you apply 12 का 15%? तो क्या करोगे बोलो ना? मतलब 7.5%, राइट है. परचेज इसमें से, इज देयर एनी परचेज ड्यूरिंग द ईयर एंड यूज फॉर लेस देन 180 डेज? व्हाट इज दैट फिगर? तो 7 के ऊपर वी विल अप्लाई 15%, but it will become half. And then balance. First preference to half rate. Have we done that? After doing that, do we still have qualifying amount remaining? तो उसके ऊपर 15% full. That's your normal depreciation. ठीक है. We calculate additional also. Assume that 4 conditions are fulfilled. This is plant and machinery. Assessee is manufacturer. This is eligible. And this is, let me mention, new. So we are eligible for additional depreciation. 7 के ऊपर के, 12 के ऊपर के, 5 के ऊपर. First of all, it will come on cost. Secondly, it will come only this year. And thirdly, it will be not 20, but 20 ka half, which is 10. That is your total depreciation for the year. So no. If this is debited to P&L, the total, so no effect. If this total is not debited to P&L, so less. And if assessee has like an idiot who does not know all this, done any random calculation and written anything in the P&L, so add that amount and subtract. That is where you get marks in PGBP. But coming back to this right now. Abhi listen, we take this deduction of depreciation, we will get our closing WDV. My question is, next year, will we get normal depreciation again? This closing becoming opening? Correct hai? To suno. If normal ko we are keeping half, listen carefully the maths here. If normal is half, so depreciation is less. If depreciation is less, so closing WDV is more. So next year ka opening WDV is, so next year depreciation, which you are going to get again, will be more. Restricting normal depreciation to half is a benefit for the assessee for the next year. Think about it. If you agree, then I will explain my next thing. Restricting normal to half is benefit in the next year. How? This year less deduction, more closing WDV. So next year more opening WDV, and you get normal again. So more amount के ऊपर, no, because opening WDV is higher. Block पे मिलेगा and opening WDV is higher because this year closing is higher. Are we clear? I'll repeat the statement. Restricting normal depreciation to half is a benefit in the next year. ठीक है? Is additional also getting restricted to half? Next year when this becomes my opening WDV, will I get normal? Yes. In fact, on the higher amount. And additional? No. Because only once. This is unfair. क्योंकि normal तो I will get again and recover whatever I am losing, half, that half which I am losing. But additional wala half which I am losing, that we don't get, no, for the second time. This is not fair, no. Supposingly I purchase, genuinely I start myself, say, supposingly you have November ka attempt. If in case you have November ka attempt and you become CA in the January wala month when the results are out, and immediately you start your business with all the new plant and machinery, but you will be using it for less than 180 days, no. In March mein year will get over. You did not do it purposely. But then what should you do? You should wait for April for buying machinery. Nahi na. You purchase. Used for less than 180 days. Normal half, no problem. Next year again. वो भी full, वो भी higher amount. See, Next year you will get normal. That also full. That also on the higher amount. And additional next year. So mahal, the other half, which is nothing but 10%. Yehi 7 ka 10%. 10 we are taking here. Other half in the very next year. Suno. This is my way of telling you. Very next year. You want to know what they have written in the act? English. In the immediately succeeding the previous year. Preceding means succeeding. Very next year. Chill. Hashtag chill. Matlab suno. Is that year 2 your year of purchase? No. But there is some unutilized balance which we have that we can take. So next year ka jo depreciation deduction hoga, that will be normal on this, because this is not just current year ka closing WDV, it is also next year ka opening WDV. Normal depreciation on this, and this half wala remaining portion will be additional. That total will be deduction of year 2. Normal is restricted to half. We were not required to specifically mention, hey sir, baki ka kab? Arey, next year you are getting it again. But additional you get only once. And we don't want assessee to suffer unnecessary loss. So isliye we will give the additional depreciation ka. Baki ka half, remaining half ka deduction again in the next year. Are you understanding? Logic ke saath understanding? Chaliye. Final point under additional depreciation. We have to define closing WDV. Sir, why do we have to define closing WDV? Because this decides my next year ka depreciation. And if you don't understand this, then that means you have not understood only what we've done over the last 2 points. Closing WDV of current year will become next year. Can I say this will decide my next year ka depreciation? Yes bolo ya no bolo? Yes na? Yes. So ye define karna zaruri. See how to compute this. Start with qualifying amount. Sir, but qualifying amount ke andar bhi there are 3 steps. What? Opening. That's your qualifying amount. And from this, subtract deduction under section 32. Matlab, if I claim any normal depreciation, will it reduce my closing WDV, which is effectively next year's opening WDV? Yes. And what if I claim additional depreciation like I have done right now? Will that also be subtracted? Because additional depreciation is also a deduction under, which means normal and additional both will get subtracted. Matlab, your government has basically done what? Assessee को बहुत बड़ा next level का dash बनाया. Final का lecture होता तो things would have been really easy for me, because there is no underage child over there. Inter के अंदर 2-3 minor children हैं, I know, which is also a small number, because generally inter में there are many minor children. तो सबका बर्थडे पहले आ गए. Good. I am unfortunately forced now. What to do? Shall I? जितने भी minor child है, you know. ईशान थी ऑल्सो. नहीं, तेरा तो हो गया उस दिन. ईशान है. हाँ, कान बंद. Shall I say it? I am not able to control. गवर्नमेंट बेसिकली assessee को एक नंबर का पागल बनाया. I like the way you thought. तू नहीं समझेगा तो कौन समझेगा? If not you, then who? इसको भी है ना, he likes it. उड़ता हुआ जबरदस्ती का. मैंने who told you to now speak in between? Who told you to say this? समझ गया. This was not required. Not required था ने. ये जरूरी नहीं था बोलना कि मैं समझ गया. होता है, कोई बात नहीं. पागल. Because now I make one statement. See if you agree or disagree. The deduction of additional depreciation is going to reduce your future depreciation.
Yes, sir.
Because, why? You tell me. Because it is reducing my closing WDV, which is effectively reducing my next year's opening WDV. Supposingly, I don't get additional this year. So next year ka opening will be higher figure. I'll get more normal depreciation. Additional nahi bhi hai, to bhi I'll get more normal depreciation. Matlab suno, additional depreciation is not additional depreciation. It is early depreciation. Yeah, this year take more. But by taking more, you are reducing your future scope of depreciation. Mitro, at the beginning, when you buy machinery, you are a startup, you may probably be having losses. So I don't want deduction this time. इससे better है कि after some years when I start earning more income and I have to pay more taxes, तभी give me more deduction. At that time they are not going to give you. Ulta, they are giving you less at that time because already they have reduced your WDV. Understood? क्या? Depreciation is not optional. It is compulsory to take depreciation. Everything, if you are eligible, you are not eligible, you have to take it. Matlab, let me put it this way. You are not eligible for this deduction. You have to take this deduction. You want to avoid that? Take second hand. Don't fulfill the condition. Don't fulfill the condition. You actually do that. Exchange in year 2. Aisa kuch. Something like that. It is mandatory. For a certain number of years, you can carry forward that loss, and if you have future profits, you can adjust your brought forward loss against your current year profits and pay tax on the net amount. And for that, we have the chapter after clubbing. Set off and carry forward of losses. So, which loss can be carried forward for how many years? And if today ka profit has some brought forward loss, you have to adjust that and compute the net profit. On that, you will have to compute your tax. That also, so no, it's still the GTI. Up tak you can't calculate tax. After set off, you get GTI. From that GTI, you give that deductions wala chapter, last chapter of your NTTI computation. Then on that NTTI, you will calculate tax. समझा क्या? WDV वैल्यू डिफर होने के डेप्रिसिएशन वैल्यू क्या बोल रहा है तू? एक मिनट, हैव यू फुलफिल्ड 4 कंडीशंस? यू हैव टू टेक इट. आगे बोल. थर्ड फोर्थ ईयर में पॉसिबल ही नहीं है, तब तो यू हैव नॉट अंडरस्टूड द कंडीशन ओनली. ये क्या है? मैक्सिमम सेकेंड ईयर में, दैट ऑल्सो इफ इट वॉज रेस्ट्रिक्टेड टू हाफ, तो जो बैलेंस वाला हाफ है ना, वेयर इज द क्वेश्चन ऑफ टेकिंग थर्ड फोर्थ ईयर में? अभी समझा? एब्सोल्युटली. दैट वॉज योर एडिशनल डेप्रिसिएशन का डिडक्शन. लेडीज एंड जेंटलमैन, दैट वॉज ऑल्सो the end of your depreciation ka section 32, the biggest section of your chapter. Why was I not in a position to do tax rates before I started income? Something that I have done for so many years. Just complete tax rates. क्या है income? तो आपको सीखते ही, it is going to go on and on and on and on and on. So let's take example. 10 lakh ka income, 50 lakh ka income, 80 lakh ka income. Let's take an example and learn tax rates. So only NTTI is remaining and that is going on. But unfortunately, old regime and new regime, old regime में you get the additional depreciation का deduction. In the new regime, you will not get additional depreciation. Normal you can take. Additional is extra, no? Any extra फालतू benefit that you are taking, no? All that is disallowed in the new regime. मतलब salary में you will not get section 16 का deductions. House property में, SOP में you will not get interest का deduction. PGBP में you will not get additional depreciation, and there are some more benefits that you will not get. We have just started the chapter that way. You won't get these deductions. That will increase your income and we reduce your tax rates, which is the new regime. So it's not possible to learn unless you first learn what are the benefits to be foregone. समझा क्या? चलिए अभी के लिए that's the end of section 32. We need to verify whether we have become a little perfect on the calculation of section 32 alone. That way PGBP का sum will be net profit add less. But in that add less, there will be less side पे depreciation as per section 32. Add as per books, less as per tax. This is that calculation. What do I always tell you? That if you don't know the section, I don't feel sorry for you. You go kill yourself. I will order a rope and a stool for you. Cash on delivery. So, if you know how to calculate this, that does not guarantee marks. Add as per books, less as per tax. But uske liye bhi you should first know this, no? And this adjustment comes in every tax paper ka PGBP sum, including CA final for 2 marks. 14 marks ke PGBP sum mein a guaranteed dedicated 2 marks for depreciation calculation. मतलब focus on the remaining 98 क्योंकि DT alone is 100 mark paper. समझा क्या? Here also in your 14 mark का PGBP sum, this will come. So we need to have special questions only for depreciation. Then there are some other general points on depreciation which I would very quickly want to show you from the textbook और उसके calculation पे छोटा-छोटा steps हैं. तो with that depreciation का full chunk will get over and we can move to the next section of allowed expenses. Don't forget that is what we are doing. Allowed expenses. समझा क्या? चलिए. तो it only makes sense that we go and do थोड़ा question. Okay. ठीक है. Page number 111 of your textbook. Question number 71. अच्छा, by the way, you keep on marking the question. क्या है कि PGBP से 71 से we are starting. Hello. तो which question is done, which question is not done, that data you should have when we complete the chapter. ऐसा कोई question छूट नहीं जाए इसलिए. All right. So question number 71, page number 111. Please read the question.
Gopi Chand Industries furnishes you with the following information. On 1st April 22, Block 1 furniture consisting of 10 furniture, 5 lakh. Block 2 building consisting of 3 buildings, 12 lakh 50,000. So
first of all, even if both of them are 10%, no, I advise you not to merge them. Calculate them separately. Okay. What else?
Acquired on 1st July 22, 5 furniture for 4 lakh.
Which block you will add into the furniture block ke building? What stupid question I am asking you. But still tell me which block you will add. हाँ, ठीक है. Next.
Sold on 7 December 22, 10 furniture for 10 lakh. Acquired on 10th January 23, 2 furniture for 3 lakh.
Whatever be the chronology of assessee doing the transaction, we will always add all the purchases and less all the sales. Correct है? चलिए. Next.
Compute depreciation claim for assessment year 23-24.
Very easy. Question number 71. Computation of depreciation claim. First, block 1. Which is that block? Furniture. Even if the question does not know, give you the rate, basic assets ka to rate you are required to know. Okay. Question has given you quantity, but my quantity was taken only in the explanation wala part. Actual question solving mein we will not take quantity. We will directly take amount. What is the opening WDV of the furniture block? 5 lakh rupees. What to do after this? Try thoda on your own, because you may be a little wrong, but you still get a little confidence if you give right answers. Add purchases. Purchases we will write first, even if there are some sales before purchases, and that you can write in chronological order. First purchases took place when? Huh? Agreed. So will the date matter or not matter? तो इसके लिए तो फिर we have to keep the breakup ना. Correct or no? Add purchases. 1st July 22. Do you understand? This is more than 180 days. That is कितना? 4 lakhs. And second purchase is on 10/1/23, which is less than 180 days. 3 lakh rupees. Total purchases during the year 7 lakh. At the same time, we will also from the block subtract सेल्स. आई थिंक सेल का ओनली वन ट्रांजेक्शन हैज टेकन प्लेस. कितना? 10 लाख रुपए. तो फर्स्ट वी विल हैव टू कैलकुलेट द कैपिटल गेन. तो we will calculate depreciation on our qualifying amount and depreciation will take care of it. देखो 12 लाख पे you calculate depreciation of 10%, you get 1 lakh 20. Don't calculate, I'm just giving you oral example, logic. But you're not going to get depreciation on 12 lakh, you're going to get depreciation only on 2 lakh. Because you have sold for a high price, you're getting less depreciation deduction. The profit earned by the assessee is getting adjusted by giving less depreciation deduction. करेक्ट है कि नहीं? चलिए, तो 2 लाख है, ब्लॉक का रेट यू ऑलरेडी नो. तो व्हाट इज द डेप्रिसिएशन? 2 लाख का 10%, 20,000. Why 5? फर्स्ट प्रेफरेंस. अगर यू वुड हैव सेड नो 3 लाख, तो आई वुड हैव सेड तो 2 लाख पे कर रहा है, तो 3 लाख पे थोड़ी कर. नहीं, 2 लाख तो हाफ रेट, 250 हाफ रेट, 280, 290, 3 लाख हाफ रेट. 3 लाख 1 रुपी होता तो 1 रुपी फुल. फर्स्ट प्रेफरेंस टू हाफ रेट. अकॉर्डिंगली 2 लाख का 10%, 10,000 rupees. Can I say that is my depreciation of my first block? Second block में they have done lol with you. They have given you building 10%. Building का 10% का block only is given, no? What is the opening WDV of the building? And do you know there is no transaction? This also is your qualifying amount. If there is no purchase or sale, you realize how easy your block becomes. LOL. Depreciation at what percent? नहीं, हाफ रेट नहीं. अरे ओपनिंग WDV है, कौन हाफ रेट? तो वही तो. Then where is the question of half rate? 1,25,000 and therefore what is your total depreciation? हो गया. Easy है. Practice done. So work is done, but so no, don't make silly mistakes, otherwise you lose marks. Okay, चलिए, let's see next question, slightly on the bigger side. उसके बाद में I don't think there is any. फिर depreciation का कोई ऐसे independent question नहीं है. इसके ऊपर there are some 2-3 concepts that I will show you very quickly and small 1 line का questions are there that we will do. चलिए, question number 72, same page.
A newly qualified chartered accountant X commenced practice and has acquired the following assets in his office during the financial year 22-23 at the cost shown against each item. Calculate the amount of depreciation that can be claimed.
Before you start reading further, first tell me what are the 2 conditions to get depreciation deduction. We did that for these assets as they told us that it is the opening WDV given to us. We calculated, but we did not calculate additional depreciation. Mistake हो गया यार. It is which asset? And therefore only normal depreciation will be allowed. Correct है कि नहीं? चलिए. Now in this there is some computer software, printer, laptop, in fact books, they all are called plant and machinery. So this time तो we will give additional. Correct or no? क्यों no? Not manufacturer. Not manufacturer तो no depreciation. चलो question over. अरे normal तो मिलेगा ना. हाँ, तो once again only normal depreciation will be calculated. Now you can start reading.
Computer, the date of acquisition is
27.
27.
तेरे पास टेक्स्ट बुक है, वो ही लिखा है.
27 September and date when put to use 2nd October 22.
Listen carefully. Amount is 35,000. वो ठीक है. This is when I purchase. If you have a quick glance, all the assets are purchased during the year.
Yes, sir.
After you are satisfied that the asset is purchased during the year, for more than 180, less than 180, this is not relevant. When you use it later. So it is possible that you buy in April but you use in December. And when they say put to use means use includes passive. मतलब before this date you have not actively or passively used it. So full or half will depend on this date. I hope you are clear. ठीक है? तो computer. When is it put to use? 2nd October. 35,000. Full rate के half rate. Don't look at me like that. Full rate or half rate. हाफ रेट. हाउ? कितना दिन काउंट कर लिया? क्यों? कैसे?
From 2nd October to 31st October it is 30 days.
वेरी गुड. अगर 29 बोला होता ना तो यू वुड हैव बीन रॉन्ग. 30 कैसे? 2 यू हैव टू इंक्लूड. वेरी गुड, सुपर्ब. तो अक्टूबर का कितना हुआ?
30 days.
सुपर्ब, वेरी गुड. आगे बढ़ो.
November 31.
He is like he did it purposely. I'll tell you. देख, he knows that सर ने मेरा नाम रखा है, ठीक है. तो if I give such a super brilliant answer, तो sir will say good things. He didn't expect me to say good things about him. And I was truly impressed the moment he said October का, because normally you expect immaturity से student to say 29. बोला सर 2 दिन काटो, 31 minus 2 तो 20. But with a very mature man, सर ने यार तारीफ कर दिया. नहीं, I like this only. नवंबर में कितना दिन?
30.
दिसंबर
31. 31. 28. 31.
हाँ, now calculate that. Which is 180 or more. Exact 180 is also fine. मतलब सुनो, 3 तारीख को खरीदा तो अभी now you have the brain to understand. 2nd October put to use 181 days. 3rd October put to use full rate or half rate. Equal to 180 is full. Less than 180 में half. In other words, ये तो सेम डेट, ये तो फर्स्ट डे से यू आर यूजिंग, तो फुल ही है. These two you will have to take. Do you understand? या नहीं समझ में आता है, एक काम करो. Wherever you have written depreciation का theory in normal or additional, you've written no half rate. 20 वाले में today you wrote 10, या लास्ट लेक्चर में half rate you wrote no. 4th October or later, 4th October onwards half rate. In case they ever give you the date on which it is put to use, so you don't have to waste time now in doing this in your exam, because you don't have to show this calculation. You just have to write less than 180, more than 180. So 2nd October पे 181, 3rd October therefore will mean 180. तो 4th October का purchases will become half. लेकिन लीप ईयर में 5th October. But your exam is not in a leap year, no? You chill, no? Next year when I will teach 2024 का students, no? उनका भी 5th October है, इसके लिए it will be half rate only. Understood or no? Understood or no? हाँ, लेकिन if this was 4th October, you all will still do half rate. 24 का students will do full rate on 4th October. Because they get one extra day in February. नहीं, इतना डिटेल में तुम मत जाओ. For you 4th October means half rate. And 4th October means half rate मतलब देख, तेरा भरोसा नहीं. 4th October means half rate का मतलब 31st March तक. ऐसा नहीं, कोई 10th October दिया, बोला सर आपने बोला 4th October half rate, तो 10th का तो 4th October से 4th October onwards. हाँ. मेरे को बाबू भैया ना, मेरे को बिल्कुल रिक्स. हाँ, तो कहना इसे 1 and 2 both will be half rate. चलिए, all you now do is, now that we have decided, एक तो this column is irrelevant. This is where we check our number of days. उसमें भी we have identified the 2 half rate. अब खाली name of the asset और उसका purchase price. Okay, उतना ही read करना. Come on.
Computer software 8,500.
Okay.
Computer printer 12,000. Books, of which annual publications are of 12,000. 13,000. Office furniture acquired from practicing CA 3 lakhs. Laptop for 43,000.
Now listen carefully. एक और एसेट है, पहले वो कंप्लीट करो.
Fire extinguisher 2,500.
अरे यार फायर एक्सटिंग्विशर में एक प्रॉब्लम है, मैंने परचेस तो आई हैव डन बट देयर वाज नो फायर ओनली दैट टुक प्लेस ड्यूरिंग द ईयर. हाँ, दैट इज केप्ट रेडी द मोमेंट यू अक्वायर इट. तो फुल के हाफ 1st April नो. इफ दिस वाज 4th October तो इस पे भी वी वुड हैव डन हाफ. बट नाउ यू अंडरस्टैंड all this, in fact laptop also, in fact books also, they all fall in which rate of depreciation? 40%. furniture का rate 10% and fire extinguisher का rate, it's plant and machinery, तो 15%. is that clear? तो at least 110 का block, सुनो ध्यान से, for furniture, 115 का block for fire extinguisher, 140 का block you have to make. In the suggested answer, because books and computer are both 40, no? They have merged. I have also printed it like that. Actually, that is incorrect treatment. Because computer is a separately identifiable block and books will be a separately identifiable. Final answer will not change. Final answer will remain same because both are 40. And if by chance the books were less than 180 days, by chance, so whether you add in the computer block or you show it as a separate block, both places you would have restricted it to half. Calculation won't change, but presentation will change. So suggested answer, this is a printed answer. इसके अंदर books and computers are merged. We will solve them separately. So 4 blocks, 10% for furniture, 15 for fire extinguisher, plant and machinery, and 40 का 2 blocks, 1 computer का 1 books का. Computer related all equipment, whether software, printer, laptop, everything will be merged in one. और उसमें software and laptop के अंदर we have already decided क्या? Software and laptop के लिए क्या decided? Half rate we have to apply. Continue reading. Question is not over.
Besides, he has purchased practicing CS office in April 22, who had run it for 4 years for 5 lakh, which includes 2 lakh for goodwill and 3 lakh for cost of furniture, included in the table. Compute depreciation allowable.
मतलब अब other than all the ऊपर का asset purchase, he has also purchased a CA firm. Going concern purchase करने. What is the amount that he has paid? 5 lakh. 5 lakh में what did he get? He got only 3 lakh का furniture. In that furniture they have already said that this is included. So furniture, this तो we don't have to take separate because already we are taking, no? It is that furniture only as the question mentions.
Yes.
So what is the only thing extra which is not covered? Goodwill. कितने का goodwill भी purchase? I don't know whether amalgamation में how properly you studied or how much you remember, but amalgamation or partnership forms is over. क्या? Point is that do you know that when we pay more than what we get in case of amalgamation, that extra payment is paid for? You know, no, net payments are more than net assets. You have heard these. My question वो है. That means can I say 3 lakh के furniture के बदले में we paid, so 2 lakh extra we have paid for. It's a purchase goodwill, not a self-generated asset. Because self-generated होता है तो there is no cost involved. Where is the question of depreciation on zero cost? But here there is cost involved 2 lakh. So depreciation. नहीं. Once upon a time मतलब 2 years ago, goodwill के ऊपर depreciation was allowed as intangible asset 25%. Last year only that amendment took place where they said now we will not give any depreciation on the cost of goodwill, and therefore 3 lakh is already included and 2 lakh पे we don't have to take. Correct? So accordingly ऊपर के table के हिसाब से we have to make it. चलिए, let's see whether we are able to do this. This is question number. तो ऊपर वाला कौन सा था बे? अच्छा, this was 71. Question number 72. We have decided 4 blocks. I leave the choice to you. Which one you want to make first?
Computer.
ठीक है. I like this. Do the difficult things first. Computer block. Rate of depreciation 40%. Is there any opening WDV? No. I think all are purchased during the year only. So opening WDV 0. Add purchases. सुनो. Yes, I do agree. कि we don't keep data. I am not even interested in individual data. But क्या इतना I can do that which of them are used for less than 180 days? What are those two? 8,500 and 43,000. That is software and laptop. Can I say 8,500 plus 43,000? 51,500 is less than 180 days. And second, others, balance. Itna bhi you can do. If you don't want to keep that exact, क्योंकि many purchases are there, So, so many lines you don't want to write. So, you can do it like this also. Or you can also do it like this. Ek entry. Ultimately, breakup has to be between these two. Full ke half. Okay. So, half. How many purchases? I think 35 is there. 12 is there. And books we have decided that we will take a separate block. So, 35 plus 12. 47,000. Total purchases during the year? 98,500. Any sales during the year? So, I will not waste time, directly call this. Qualifying amount of 98,500. Karo computer ka 40% on 98,500. No. What will we do? 51,500 ka 40%, but only half. Correct or no?
Yes.
Which is 10,000? 300. And what is the balance? 47,000 ke upar. We will calculate 40%, which is 18,800. So total computer block ka depreciation. Now let's calculate additional. क्यों? Plant and machinery है. Manufacturer होता, then also it is not being used. हाँ, ठीक है. I wanted to hear that also. Block number 2. क्या? Anything you make. Books. ठीक. I think there is no opening WDV. Purchases more than 180 days is nothing but your qualifying amount of 13,000. Now suno. Once upon a time, books which used to be annual publications, usko we used to treat revenue expense. क्यों मालूम है? Every year you have to pay. But now books fall in this capital asset and we are going to give depreciation ka deduction of 40%, which will make it 5,200. That will be my second asset. Block number 3 में we will make plant करना, plant and machinery. Purchases more than 180 days, which is also equal to qualifying amount 2,500. इस पे we will charge depreciation of, so we get 375. And block number 4, furniture. When did he purchase that CA ka office? In April 22 only. And 1st April ko you have started using also. Can I say which? This was 40%, this was 15%, this is 10%. Purchases of more than 180 days, that's 3 lakh rupees. Uske upar we calculate 10%. So finally, what is our depreciation deduction? $30,375 plus 5,200 plus 29,100. 64,675. Are you getting it? Okay. 64,675 and no depreciation on goodwill. Now, only difference between our answer and suggested is that your books and computers are merged into one block. Is that clear? Everyone? Chali. Depreciation se related, there are 2-3 small points that I need to tell you. From here itself I will tell you, and 2-3 questions are there on these things. So, let me tell you that what is going to happen with respect to this. Sometimes what happens is you purchase a fixed asset. उस fixed asset के साथ, is it possible that you are paying any GST? Say you go and buy an AC, 30,000 ka AC and 18%. I don't know anything about GST rates. I'm taking an example. That means you will pay 18% on 30,000, 5,400. Cost of AC is 35,400. But it is possible that the GST that you are paying, uska input credit you will get against your GST liability. That means your real cost of that AC is not 35,400, it is 30 only. Because whatever input you have paid, that you get as refund, adjustment against your output. Correct? So what will you take as the cost of that asset in your block? Only the amount without GST, 30,000. हाँ, लेकिन कभी कभी ऐसा होता है. Supposingly you start a new business, you have not taken GST registration. Possible है? If you have not taken GST registration, so that input ka credit you will not get. So for you that 5,400 will also become cost because you are not going to get credit. In that case, you will get depreciation on full cost. Point is only this much. any amount of your purchase price if it is likely to get recovered. How? Sometimes it gets recovered by way of input tax credit of GST. Sometimes क्या होता है पता है? Government tells you, ये सुनना यार, तेरा business बहुत मस्त है. I think it will contribute good to the country in terms of growth, in terms of tax revenue, in terms of employment generation. Please scale up your business. Buy a new machine. वो 1 crore वाला machine buy कर. उससे ज्यादा प्रोडक्शन होगा. बोले कि सर पैसा नहीं है. I don't have 1 crore to buy machine. Government is like, don't worry. You buy 60 lakhs, I will pay. That means a portion of your asset is being sponsored by. जैसे last time you were paying GST but it was getting recovered. This time also you will buy machine of 1 crore. But government will pay you 60. So what is your cost? So any such amount of subsidy, grant or reimbursement shall also be reduced from your cost. In other words, the cost for your purposes is 40 lakh. एक बात बता, from your pocket you paid how much? You get depreciation only on 40. मतलब if you are going to get any input credit of GST or if you are going to get any reimbursement from the government, so that amount will be reduced from cost. Opening WDV में भी add purchases. In purchases we will add only the net cost that we are paying. In example 1, 30,000 and in example 2, 40 lakhs. Only that amount which you are ultimately going to bear from your own pocket. Did you understand? And logical enough because your cost is only that much. अरे समझा क्या नहीं? Okay? चलिए. Next, depreciation का तो amalgamation का तो I have already told you between predecessor and successor in the ratio of number of days for which the asset was used. Hello, correct? उसके ऊपर we have a question. Let's see question number 67. How to apportion in ratio of number of days that will be taken care of in this concept. Please read. Question 67.
X and company sole proprietorship concern was converted into a company on 1st September 22. Before the conversion, the concern had a block of plant and machinery whose WDV on 1st April 22 was 3 lakh. On 1st April 1st itself, new plant of the same block was purchased for 3 lakh 20. A subsidy of 2 lakh was received from the government on the said plant and machinery. After the conversion, the company has purchased a plant on 1st Jan 23 for 60,000. Compute the depreciation claim for the sole proprietorship concern and the company.
देखो, till last year only the sole proprietorship was in existence. So the proprietorship was taking depreciation. This year amalgamation has taken place. Now it will be company. Next year onwards, only company will be in existence. Sole proprietorship is taken over. Company will get. But this year who will get depreciation? From the beginning of the year till the date of amalgamation, who will get depreciation? And from the date of amalgamation till the end of the year, the company will be getting the depreciation. But understand, karo, we had opening WDV of 3 lakh. This is there for the full year. We have to apportion the depreciation. Okay. Then we have purchases during the year. 3 lakh 20, which we have purchased on April 1 itself. If we have purchased on April 1 itself, so full year depreciation ke half year. There are only 2 options, no other option. Full year ka depreciation will be given on 3 lakh 20. Usme se 2 lakh was received from the government in the form of subsidy. Now you first tell me what to do with this 2 lakh. Matlab when we will take cost of acquisition, when we will take our purchases, we will take only, and when we will calculate depreciation only on for the full year. Opening WDV is for the full year. We apportion the depreciation between both of them on number of days. These purchases full year, the net amount of 120, uska full year ka depreciation, apportion on number of days. But what happened after the conversion? The company purchased this. My question is very simple. This asset ka first question, full rate ke half rate. Chaliye. Why? 1st Jan, 4th October onwards. Second question, will you apportion this depreciation between proprietorship and the? Why? Only the company has used, and therefore on this asset only the company will get depreciation. So how to, ठीक है, that explanation part you understood. How to calculate and present? Logic is clear, but presentation. This is question number 67. How to present it? देखो, what is your opening WDV? 3 lakh है ना? Add purchases which is greater than 180 days. We will take 3 lakh 20 minus 2 lakh. Net being 1 lakh 20,000. Correct or no? चलिए. And I think there is one more purchase. There is purchase less than 180 days which has been done by the company. That is 60,000. What is the qualifying amount? 4 lakh 80. At least we know this much, that on this 4 lakh 80 we have to calculate the depreciation deduction and apportion it between the sole proprietorship and the company. Correct? When we calculate the depreciation on 60,000, this was plant and machinery. Correct? Na? A new plant and machinery was purchased. Okay? So we will calculate 60,000 ka 15%. Is that it? No. So kya? Into half. Correct or no? This is the depreciation of the half rate wala part. What is this amount? Kitna? I write it under sole proprietorship, company or apportion in ratio of number of days. तो यहाँ पे 0, यहाँ पे 4,500. Correct or no? What about the remaining 4 lakh 20,000? First of all, इसके ऊपर the 15% that we will calculate will be for full year. How much are we getting? 60. Is this clear? Now this 63. Year के divide in what ratio? Number of days. April, sole proprietorship. May, June, July and August. Correct or no? कितना days हुआ? $153 upon 365, and on the right side it will be the remaining. That's 21 upon 365. Is that understood? चलिए, तो please tell me the amount under the sole proprietorship and under the company. In the ratio of number of days has been specifically written. Go check that amalgamation wala point in depreciation ka theory that we have written. We started section 32 depreciation. तो कॉलेज का एग्जाम दे रहा था कभी? नहीं, that was in the second lecture. What did we write? It is specifically mentioned number of days. समझे? चलो. So please tell me. 26. Left side.
Yes. 36,980.
Correct है? तो after the conversion, company has purchased a plant. Happy? कुछ भी बोलता है ग्रामर नाजी. आफ्टर कन्वर्जन बोला मतलब दिस इज अ न्यू परचेस बाय द कंपनी. का बच्चे जैसा बात नहीं करना है. ओके, इज दैट क्लियर? आर यू डन विद द डेप्रिसिएशन कैलकुलेशन? तुम्हारा माथा. दिस इज नॉर्मल डेप्रिसिएशन. नाउ यू गो एंड चेक. हैव दे मेंशन एनीथिंग अबाउट द नेचर ऑफ बिजनेस? No. So we don't know whether the assessee is in manufacturing business or not in manufacturing business. Correct है क्या नहीं? But apart from that, can we see that this is new plant and machinery? New भी है and plant and machinery भी है. As far as this is also concerned, This is also plant and machinery, and nothing is mentioned, so you assume second hand, can you? Correct or no? So when nothing is mentioned, so you can also assume that the assessee is eligible for additional depreciation. Correct hai? Kitna? 60,000. अच्छा sorry 480 के ऊपर we have to calculate no purchases. तो 60,000 का 20% into half. This 6,000 will fully be granted to the company. और सुनो 1,20,000 के ऊपर that will be full, no? अच्छा by 120 because a portion of your cost has been met by someone. So that is 24,000. Same ratio में you will apportion 153 by 365 and 212 by 365. Ten zero. Finally, you get the total depreciation for both assets. Is that clear? That total wala part you can do on your own also. You can romance your calculators. That is the most romantic story on the planet. Everyone done with this concept? Chali. Let's go ahead. Couple of easy concepts. So easy that they do not merit our time to actually write them down. When an asset is acquired by way of gift or depreciation. See, understand. You purchase an asset. That's your purchase price. You start claiming depreciation. But when you get an asset by way of gift, there is a concept in capital gains called cost to the previous owner. मतलब whoever was the owner before you, uska cost is your cost. And therefore you will take depreciation on that. That concept will be taught to you in detail in capital gains ka chapter. Cost to the previous owner. But with a small catch. If I buy an asset today and gift it to you today itself, cost to the previous owner is your cost. Claim depreciation on that. Full rate, half rate. Dekho, we are in the end of October, so half rate ho jaye for this year. Next year, full rate. But if I buy it today and gift it to you next year, so you start claiming from next year onwards. But does it make sense to give you depreciation on today ka purchase price? So what we will have to do is, listen carefully. We will take original cost of the asset of year 1. We will charge notional depreciation. Assume that depreciation was taken in year 1. So what is the WDV at the end of year 1? Will become the WDV at the end of year 2, that year from which you become eligible for depreciation. So we have to take original cost and subtract depreciation of that period. For example, nahi hoga na. If it is year 2, that's a different thing. Okay. And if, see, then year 2 mein when you are claiming it for the first time, so then you have to see, no, when the asset is put to use. Accordingly, you can decide. Okay. Chalo. For example, X purchased a motor car on 1st July 2020 and same was gifted to Y for on 1st November 22. So first of all, Y will get depreciation from AY 23-24. Can we give depreciation on 3 lakh? That's the question that I am asking you.
No, sir.
No. Why? Because 3 lakh is the price of 2021. So what you will have to do is 3 lakhs se start. Calculate depreciation of 2021.
WDV up to 31st October.
Calculate depreciation पहले 2021 का करेगा. Correct? Charge depreciation for one more year. 21-22. That will give you opening WDV of this year. And on that you will charge depreciation. समझा? तो question 68. 2021. What is the purchase value of the car? 3 lakh. That's July.
Yes, sir.
So you charge depreciation of full year ke half year. Why full? 9 months, no? 9 months, no? हाँ, 9 months. तो या तो full या half. No 9 months. So can I say 45,000? Soon. This is WDV on 31/3/21. We have still not commenced the year for which we are giving depreciation. What is that? 255. Now we charge depreciation at 15%, which is also notional. Why do we call it notional? Because no one is going to get this deduction. Only to find out the present value we are doing it. Again 45,000. Take no calculation, will remain simple. WDV is compulsory. समझा क्या नहीं? तो charge depreciation 15% of 255. कितना? Can I say this is the WDV on 31/3/22, the beginning of the year? That is, and now we charge depreciation. This is the question for 22/23, which is also our assessment year. 216,750 into assessee has started using the asset from November. My first question, I'll explain the concept that we are doing again, but my first question is 216,750 into 15%, full rate ke half rate. As a reminder, asset was used from 1st November. पक्का? Full के half? Everyone half? Is the asset used for less than 180 days? Yes. And the asset is also purchased during the year. तो फुल क्या है मित्रों? इधर आओ. कौन से वाले पॉइंट में वी डिड दैट हाफ? वो 180 वाला पॉइंट ईयर 4 में. इफ एट ऑल हाफ लगता ना, सुनो, सपोजिंगली ये है आपके सामने फर्स्ट ईयर 2021, द करंट सम दैट वी आर सॉल्विंग 2021 वी परचेस्ड इन जुलाई, so we did full 15. If that was November, so that year we would have applied half notional, because actually we are not getting, we just bring it to its present value. But in the current case, it is less than 180 days, but it is not purchased during the year, it was purchased in 2021. Full rate will be given. Half rate is applicable only when both conditions are fulfilled. Samjha? Understood that mistake that you made? But at the same time, a quick recap of what is this concept. If you are using a gifted asset, normally cost to the previous owner, but before you start taking depreciation, you can't take it on the original cost. Supposingly today I buy a 3 lakh ka asset and gift it to you after 5 years. After 5 years you use it for business, you take depreciation. You can't take it on the original cost of 3 lakh. You have to bring the depreciated value from the year when you start taking the depreciation. You have to come up to this value, and then from this you can start your WDV depreciation.
This was not gifted and was purchased by Mr. Y.
तब तो he would have taken this as actual depreciation, this as actual depreciation. समझा? तब तो it would have been actual only, no? Now I will ask what you are asking. Supposingly I purchase an asset for my house, an AC for my house, same data 2021. Will I get depreciation in 2020? देखो, he asked क्या? If he had purchased and day one say is using for business, तब the same calculation, except that 45,000 and 38,250 will also be PGBP का deduction, not any notional value for the respective years. But I am changing your data and exactly coming to what you are asking. I purchase AC for home in 2021, same date, 3 lakh का, will I get depreciation? अरे used it, हाँ, तो no depreciation. ठीक है. 21-22 में not used at home, मतलब 22-23 में न्यू ऑफिस खोला तो घर से I took it over there. Now owned and used for business. Yes. I start getting depreciation from 22-23. But can I take it on the original cost of 3 lakh which was incurred 3 years ago? No, I have to bring the asset to its present value with the same calculation. That is what you were asking. And in that case, both of them will be notional figures because you are not going to get deduction of that. That is what you were asking. समझा? उसमें भी same thing we will apply. If in this year it was acquired for less than 180, मतलब it was used for less than 180 days. So this calculation we would have restricted to half. Accordingly, this will change. Then we will do full only. And right now, though we will do full only. Because even if it is used in business for less than 180 days, it is not purchased during the year. No? Half rate लगाने के लिए, right up to additional depreciation. Today also we have written, purchased during the year. Today only you check now. Additional depreciation का. Purchased during the year and used for less than 180 days. Both होता है, then only half applies, otherwise नहीं. Is that clear now? But ठीक है, ये discussion के अंदर one more concept took place. What you know? Purchased an asset for personal use and after some years brought it to business. Yes. So what will be taken as cost? Original cost plus assumed depreciation, notional depreciation till date to bring its present value. Is that clear? चलिए, वही next concept था, asset acquired for personal. भाव, as per this. Present value for tax purposes will be WDV, assuming that you have been taking depreciation for the years. Why do I say assuming? Because actually you were not taking. And you can also call it notional depreciation. Correct or no? Present value as per market नहीं, present value assuming के depreciation दिया होता. Day one say if it was business asset. So what would have been depreciation and what would have been present value? वो present value. I never said market value. समझा? And ये जो asset purchase for personal purpose, देख लो, actual cost to the assessee shall be original cost less the depreciation allowable over the years. देखते हैं. What do we have? Question 69. Please read.
Mr. X purchased a motor car for his personal use for 5 lakh on 11 May 2020. Subsequently, on 11 December 22, he bought the said motor car into his business use. Compute the depreciation allowable for assessment level 22.
Compute. Notional depreciation is going to be applied as the same rate had there been actual depreciation. You don't know plant and machinery का depreciation का rate? नाम में शांत डालता है और क्लास में शांत नहीं. चलिए, let me see how you have done it. Question number, ये 69 था ना? First we start with 2021. What was the purchase value?
5 lakhs.
इसमें we will charge depreciation which will be actual के notional. मित्रों, notional का rate will be same as actual only, just that we are not going to get the deduction, we will only charge to bring the value. Full year के half. So no, if this was not May but November, so we would have done half year itself. मतलब all throughout you have to imagine, assume that day one say it was business asset. So how would your calculation proceed? With the only exception or with the only thing that you be careful is assume करके business asset. Actually you are not getting all this deduction. Deduction will be from the year when you start using it for business. Full rate more than 180, 15% के हिसाब से हाँ, कोई को डेप्रिसिएशन का रेट प्लांट एंड मशीनरी का याद नहीं. WDV ऑन 31/3, तो इसके ऊपर वी विल गेट करंट ईयर डेप्रिसिएशन. इसके ऊपर वी विल गेट करंट ईयर डेप्रिसिएशन. नो, वी चार्ज वन मोर डेप्रिसिएशन नोशनल. कितना? अगेन 15%. दैट इज 63. Finally, we get WDV on 31/3/22. 361,250. बहुत बढ़िया. And therefore, what is going to be your depreciation for the year? 361,250 into 15%. Used from November, bro. No, used from November only. Full. Why full? You cannot purchase during full rate. Whatever be the answer, concept is same. Concept understanding is more important than the final answer. Is that clear? Chaliye, fantastic. That was your 69. Yeah, as far as question 70 is concerned, this is on SLM depreciation, which we have already studied. So we can solve question 70 also, and I think 71 and 72 we have already solved. With which means that depreciation se related all questions are done and dusted. Okay, and we can now peacefully move to our next section under what? Allowed expenses. आगे बोलो. If debited, आज ही बोलो. If debited, we are doing allowed expenses. वो पूछ लिया. Now I asked if debited. Allowed है क्या? वापस पूछेंगे. We are discussing allowed expenses. If debited. If not debited, yes. Credited मत बोल. It cannot be. Question 70 SLM का करते. Then we go to the next section of allowed expenses. Yes, please. Question 70.
Sirs, Power Failure Limited is engaged in generation and distribution of power.
Institute को भी ठग लाइफ है. नाम तो देखो कैसा कैसा. चलो.
It charges straight line depreciation on its plant. On 1st April 22, the written down value of plant is 8,72,300. The original cost of the plant is 10 lakhs.
So first answer what I am asking. We acquired the plant for 10 lakhs. Till now we have changed or charged how much depreciation? We have taken deduction of how much amount? 127,700 का we have taken deduction, which is why the WDV as of now is 872,300. चलिए. अच्छा, by the way, if nothing happens, so whatever we have taken, I hope you have the brain to understand SLM मतलब both years we have taken equal. नहीं, कितना years is not given, only WDV. So we don't know how many years, but whatever depreciation we have been taking, it is the same amount, and we would have continued the same manner and one day made it zero. Yes. SLM may become zero, but the twist in SLM depreciation comes when, and which is the next thing. Please read.
Discuss the treatment in each of the following cases. The company sells its plant on 10th April 22 for 11 lakhs, or B, the company sells its plant for 5,72,300 on 10th April 20.
Fair enough. That means we have two different selling price का figures. ठीक है. In the case 1, the selling price is more than our today का WDV. Not just more than today का WDV, but also more than original cost. Second वाले में it is less than the WDV. Actually, second वाला is very easy. What is the WDV as of now? उसमें से we have recovered how much? बाकी कितना remaining? Do you understand? This 3 lakh will become what? My terminal. That means this will be my deduction of this year. This is my last chance. How, sir? Listen. 10 went. 572,300 came back. मतलब net expense from pocket 427,700. From which 127,700 का deduction you have already taken. This is your last chance. Whatever you want to take, you take here. This was in my SLM का example when we took selling price of 6 lakh and 7 lakh. That was the example. Understood? But when you sell it for more than this, so can you answer what will happen in this case? Let me see if you are able to recollect. 1 lakh capital gain. Easy वाला बोल दिया, अभी difficult वाला बोल. 127,700 will be balancing charge. Balancing charge मतलब taxable under PGBP, and 1 lakh will be taxable under capital. Excess over original cost will be capital gains. Only this much can be balancing chart. I did it here only because it is already solved. So 1 lakh will be capital gain and 127,700 will be business income. 3 lakh will be allowable as terminal depreciation. Very easy. Once you know the concept of SLM depreciation, 71, 72 we have already finished. Ladies and gentlemen, finally I can congratulate you because the biggest section of the chapter, section 32, khatam, tata, bye bye, gaya. Allowed expenses, they do continue. There is a section 33AB, assessee doing tea, coffee, rubber business. 33ABA, assessee in the business of site restoration. Section 35 I am doing. There is a section 35ABB, expenditure on telecom license. ABA, spectrum fees. Sir, why are you not explaining all these? Go open your study material where they say chapter wise exclusions from syllabus, and they mention that some of these sections, study material मतलब मेरा textbook नहीं है, institute का study material, क्योंकि textbook में घुमा रहता है and it is excluded from syllabus. Am I a fool that I will keep in the textbook? Textbook में नहीं मिलेगा, मगर income tax act में it is there. Then why it is not there in our textbook and why are we not discussing? Why, sir? Sir, it is not there in the syllabus. उसमें 33AB and AB है तो I tell final students also skip because after 2009 they have not asked me. हाँ, but that other expense like telecom license and all that, that we cover in CA final. यहाँ पे you are not required to do all that. I will take you to section 35, 32 which was depreciation and 35 AD. These three are the biggest three sections of PGBP. These three sections completed, matlab PGBP will get over in 1.5 lectures after this. 2 hours maximum if we go very slow also. And about 1.5 to 2 lectures more for your question answer. It's all about how quickly you get done with these two provisions. At least 35, so we have enough time that we will be able to complete today. One good news about 35 is, till 2-3 years ago, section 35 was very, very complicated. Very complicated. Because section 35 में 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 deductions are given. Expense number A, expense B, C, D, E, F, G. So how many different types of expenses? 7. किसी में they said 100% deduction, they said 150%, 200%, 175%. Sir, what do you mean by this? Weighted deduction. Weighted मतलब you pay salary to your staff, 5 lakh rupees. So how much expense you show in P&L?
5 lakh.
Silly question I am asking. 5 lakh. And if I ask you how much deduction you want as an expense against your business profits? 5 lakh. That is 100% deduction of expense. Whatever you incur, you take that as deduction. But this section के अंदर we had the concept of weighted deduction, 175%. मतलब spend 1 lakh, we give you deduction of 1,75,000. There was weighted deduction of as high as 200%. Like section 35 was a representation of Anuradha in income tax law, एक का double करती है. Spend 1 lakh, get 2 lakh ka deduction. Understand? 200% weighted deduction. रुकना रे बाबा, impatient आदमी. Then came Jetli ji, somewhere in 2016 का budget. Jetli ji said that people are putting pressure on me कि tax का rate कम करो, tax rate कम करो. Like in that web series, he says no. Violence कम करो, त्रिपाठी violence कम करो, they don't say violence, they say violence कम करो. हाँ. तो tax का rate कम करो. Jetli ji is like के एक साइड पे तो you spend 1 lakh and you want deduction of 2 lakh. That means you are reducing your taxable profit by a huge amount, double of what you spend. Then you tell me कि tax का rate भी कम करो. हट. All this will be restricted to 150% in 18-19. When did he say this? 16 में. And all this will be restricted to 100% from 2021. Jetli ji had this ability that he will not bring amendments applicable today. He will say, I am bringing this amendment, this will apply after 2 years. I am bringing this amendment, this will apply after 5 years. He used to always bring amendments applicable from future date. Every finance minister has his or her own characteristics and features which get reflected in their provisions they enact. Jetli ji was always thinking about 5 साल बाद क्या 5 साल, he was always thinking about the future. And many times I used to joke about कि खुद का तो भरोसा नहीं, that will survive tomorrow, or no, I'm bringing 5 years बाद का amendment. That time it was a joke. Unfortunately, he actually passed away. One of the best politicians the country has ever had, one of the best lawyers, the top category lawyer, मतलब same category as Ram Jethmalani, Harish Salve, same category. One of the best opposition leaders, one of the best administrators, but a failed finance minister, unfortunately. Just like Dr. Manmohan Singh sir should not have taken up PM ka post. So his respect would have stayed forever as the best finance minister of independent India. But after he took PM ka post, people forgot what he did in the past, because people will remember you for that one bad thing that you did and not for the 100 good things you did for them. Same problem with Jetli ji. Unfortunately, he spoiled his own name by accepting that finance ministry. In this finance ministry ke andar filhal kuch, there is some problem in that chair, that whoever comes on that chair becomes, auntie ka nature is a little different. Auntie does not bring future ka amendment. Auntie does not think 5 years into the future. She is like, aaj I am bringing amendment applicable till tomorrow. Tomorrow I will bring one more amendment which will be applicable till day after tomorrow. Day after tomorrow one more amendment. And she brings the frequent amendments. Then normally finance ministers wait for budget. She thought today evening she can bring a circular. Chalo, I am changing this chapter. Or though final ke batch ko I will have to call back. Okay, bhai, your portion is over, but there are some changes. And CA students, they are never interested in learning amendments. Their question is, sir, हमको लगेगा क्या sir? Sir, is it applicable to us? That's their first question. समझा? तो Jetli ji has done one good thing for you guys. Everything is now 100. 2021 मतलब now तो it is 22-23. So your life is sorted. You just need to know. अभी तू बोला सर क्या था अभी बोलूंगा क्या था. There are 7 expenses, and in all the expenses you will get कितना deduction? Means what you spend is your deduction. What you spend is your deduction. Is that clear? These 7 expenses are divided in subsections and clauses. So we have 35.1.1, we have 35.1.2, 35.1.2a, 35.1.3, we have 35.2AA, we have 35.2ab. ऐसा करके we have about 7. एक है 35.2, subsection 2 है, subsection 2AA है, subsection 2ab है, and subsection 1 में there are 4 clauses. Total कितना हुआ? 7. Clear है? Out of these 7, 2, this and this are deductions that you can take in the new regime. Old regime may take all 7, reduce profit, pay tax at higher rate. New regime may take only this and this, मतलब forego the remaining 6, मतलब remaining 4. Individual HUF के लिए it is 4 and this is applicable only to company. और ऐसा ही बोलो कि you take these to forego all the others and pay tax as per new rates, which is why we did not do tax rates. Unfortunately, unless you know all these tax benefits, उसमें और एक unfortunate event होने वाला है. In the tax deductions that you have to forego for new regime, they have also said कि 33AB and ABA का deduction नहीं मिलेगा. They have said this. They have said कि 35 CCC CCD का deduction नहीं मिलेगा. But these sections are deleted from inter का syllabus. Anybody opting for new taxation regime will get these deductions in the old regime, not get in new regime. So to calculate tax, you should know this. And this is why we did not do tax rates. But they are not a part of your syllabus. So you may not know the complete new regime despite clearing CA inter. So see you after 3 years for further knowledge. Anyways, by that time, how much of today are you going to remember is a big question mark. Because even today there is one question mark, that how much of today you will remember tomorrow. So here we are talking about coming back after 3 years. Let's see who has seen 3 years. Like, we were kidding about Jetli ji, kal ka bharosa nahi. But human life ka to, honestly speaking, after taking 2 doses of COVID vaccine, kal ka sach mein bharosa nahi. People in their 20s and 30s are collapsing at any point of time. So, kal ka koi bharosa nahi. He's like, aaj marna. है ना? नहीं. So we will have to learn 7 parts, out of which 2 will be allowed in new regime. Not allowed. The remaining will not be allowed in new regime. Old में everything will be allowed. Normally, as I told you, कि sir, do we need to remember subsection or clause number? मैं बोलता हूँ bro, you learn this no उतना काफी है. But section 35 में you will have to put a little effort in learning the subsection and clause number, especially after this old new wala factor. So you should know that there are 2 which are allowed in new and the others are not allowed. So you should know which deduction falls in which subsection. आप समझा क्या? इसलिए I recommend, suggest, request that यहाँ पे you learn with the subsection and clause number. We are talking about section 35, expenditure incurred by any assessee on research. On expenditure incurred on research. Research of any kind is very important. Research is important for your business, no doubt about that. Research is important for your consumers. Think about it, agree or disagree, then I go ahead. You doing research is important for your consumers because if you have new and innovative products, they get access to those products. Research is important for your competitors also. Your research is important for your competitors. If you do research, to be in business and compete with you, they will also have to be on their toes. So it is good for their competitors, their consumers also. Otherwise, they will come to you. Therefore, this research is important for the nation as a whole and the world as a whole. Any kind of research, here typically the target is scientific research. But any kind of research that way is important, and expenditure of research deduction will be given in section 35. For example, you invent a formula. दाग जाए पर रंग न जाए. Ultimately, someone has invented that formula, no? Which can make your stains on your clothes disappear. Correct? It cannot happen overnight, no? First, they must have collected alag material of cloth. Cotton ka, silk ka, velvet ka, linen ka. On that alag material, they must have put alag stain. Pickle ka stain, पेन का इंक का स्टेन, डस्ट का स्टेन, अजय देवगन, जुबा केसरी का स्टेन, एंड डन ट्रायल एंड एरर. लिटल डिटर्जेंट दे मेड, ट्राइड टू रिमूव द स्टेन. स्टेन इज नॉट गोइंग. बोला थोड़ा स्ट्रांग बनाओ. यू मस्ट हैव ऑल्सो डन एट सम पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम इन योर लाइफ. बहुत लाइट बनाए, थोड़ा स्ट्रांग बनाओ. वो स्ट्रांग किया, ज्यादा स्ट्रांग हो गया. इज लाइक सू बनाए वो छे यार, बहुत स्ट्रांग छे. करेक्ट नो? यू डन दैट नो? लुक एट द इनोसेंस ऑन हिज फेस. इतना स्ट्रांग दैट फॉर्मूला बिकेम, कपड़ा ही जल गया. सो नाउ अगेन डाइल्यूट इट अ बिट. अरे दिस इज कॉल्ड ट्रायल एंड एरर, नो? देन फाइनली वी विल कम टू अ फॉर्मूला वेयर प्रॉपर, यू नो, दिस इज केमिस्ट्री आफ्टर ऑल. A proper mixture of different chemicals, especially in their desired quantity. So if 100 gram का detergent packet is our target, उसमें which chemical should be in how much quantity? Exact specification. A little here and there, and the product may not be of any use for your consumer. In fact, it will bring disrepute to your brand. So extensive research will be required before introducing any such product in the market. Yes or no? उस एक्सटेंसिव रिसर्च के लिए एक्सटेंसिव एक्सपेंडिचर इज ऑल्सो गोइंग टू बी रिक्वायर्ड, एंड दैट एक्सपेंडिचर का डिडक्शन वी आर गिविंग यू इन सेक्शन 35. आई विल स्टार्ट विद द फर्स्ट 2, 35(1)(1) and 35(2). Also because have I been telling you that these 2 are the only 2 which are allowed in new regime. The remaining will not be allowed in new regime. करेक्ट और नो? तो चलिए देखते हैं. व्हाट डू वी हैव? सेक्शन 35(1)(1). इफ यू हैव इनकर्ड रेवेन्यू एक्सपेंस. कौन सा एक्सपेंस? रेवेन्यू एक्सपेंस फॉर योर ओन बिजनेस. रेवेन्यू एक्सपेंस फॉर योर, second thing highlighted, and in that business you are doing scientific research. So 3 things are to be noted here. Nature of expense, revenue. For your own business के neighbor's wife, and that business involves, ऐसा नहीं, you can invent detergent for your neighbor's wife repeating. So own business, scientific research, ladies and gentlemen, you will be getting 100% deduction of these expenses. 100% deduction. To give you an example, continuing my detergent wala example. So for that you will have to bring अलग-अलग type का cloth, उसका cost. अलग-अलग type का stain you will have to apply, उसका cost. The initial chemicals that you will have to purchase to do that trial and error. The scientist who will perform that experiment for you, अय्यर भाई का 1 day का professional charges you will have to pay him. वो वही काम करता है. हाँ. His laboratory का 1 day का rent you will have to pay. Correct or no? Are all these revenue expenses? Answer yes or no. Yes. For your own business, because you want to produce detergent, and are you doing scientific research? Yes. 100% deduction of all these expenses. And in section 35(2), they write the same thing with a little change, that here they have changed from revenue to capital. Second line is same, third line is same, 100% deduction. मतलब capital expenditure for own business, scientific research, 100% deduction. So what is the only difference between these two? Capital and revenue. Together can I say, for your own business scientific research, own business scientific research, own business scientific research, revenue or capital, 100% deduction. When this section started, they were like, okay, we want to encourage research, research is important, encourage. We give you deduction, but this was a scam. Because if I am incurring any expense in my own business, whether I do research or no, supposingly I don't do any research, I run a vada pav ka stall. For my vada pav ka stall, I will have to buy pav, bread. Not everyone bakes their own bread. Pav you will have to bring. You will have to buy aloo, no? Potato. Why? To make that vada. Let me tell you, pav sabka same hota hai. Taste is in the vada. Correct or no? हाँ. Then some are like, sir, मैं Jain है. हाँ तो ठीक है. हाँ तो केला का भाजी. Okay, no problem. Okay. Then that for making that, because ultimately taste is in the vada or the chutney. So for that chutney, you will have to buy those small component, 3 अलग-अलग variety का. मतलब green chutney के लिए you will buy coriander, or you call it dhania or kothmir or whatever you want to. Green chilies also maybe. Imli you will buy for that meetha chutney, and then lasan wala powder. Will you buy all this? Correct or no? Then vade ko fry karne ke liye you will buy oil. Before, by the way, you make those vada ka balls, you don't put it in oil directly. You first dip it in something. Besan. I'm used to eating, not making. I expected that some obnoxious so-called big school ka students will say, sir, we'll buy the batter. But bola besan. But ultimately, no matter where we go, we are just no service. ठीक है, no worries. Are all these expenses going to be allowed? Mitro, day-to-day expenses are allowed to vada pav ka stall also. Thank God I don't run one, because there will be no sales, only drawings. Thank God. This is a scam. Everyone gets this deduction. Nothing great. But this is a real deduction, because if the vada pav vendor will purchase fixed assets, the frying pan, his shop, his cart, he won't get deduction of those expenses. He won't get capital expense ka deduction. He will get bhikari ki tarah mar mar ke ro ro ke small bits and parts in the name and nature of. But research we want to encourage, so we will give you deduction of capital expense also. So we started by saying encourage. Here we are not really encouraging, not because we are not giving, we are giving, but then everyone gets it. But this no one gets. Normal people, a CA firm or a coaching class on its capital expenditure will get section 32. But we want to encourage research, no? So capital expenditure also, full deduction we will be giving. 100% deduction. Or may I put it this way, that capital expenditure will be allowed as revenue deduction, as revenue expense itself. Are you understanding? So jointly, can we conclude? For your own business, if you have incurred scientific research ka expenses, whether revenue or capital, full deduction. Revenue ka example I gave you, that scientist ka fees or that laboratory ka rent. Capital mein you might have to purchase some apparatus and give him, no, to perform the experiment. You might purchase some pilot machinery, small machinery. If it is successful, so we will buy a bigger machinery. Such small machinery ka all this capital expenses will be allowed as a deduction. Correct hai? Chaliye. But there is a little problem, and the problem is that in reality, research is an activity that we have to actually do before we start our business. Or may I say it this way, that we will do actual business only if our research is successful. And finally, we are able to identify a formula which is Dag Jai Par Rang Na Jai. If our experiment fails, we don't start business. So most certainly, these expenses, please understand, are going to be not your current year expense, but your pre-commencement. You understand the short form, or you want me to write the full thing? They will be pre-commencement expense. Because they were successful, we are starting business. So till now, we did not have business only. Now we are starting business. No problem. We will give you deduction of pre-commencement also. Revenue business, matlab revenue expense, own business, scientific research, congratulations, 100% deduction. In other words, can I say we will get deduction of current year as well as pre-commencement expenses. And then, ladies and gentlemen, you already know what is the only change on the right side in section 35(2). Only revenue will become capital. The rest is same. The rest is same. See if you understand what I now say. Revenue expense or capital expense. Current year or pre-commencement. If it is for your own business which involves the scientific research, take full deduction. Revenue or capital, current year or pre-commencement. Revenue or capital, current year or pre-commencement, take full deduction. Now have we understood this? Chaliye, very good, excellent. With a condition that maximum pre-commencement, are we getting deduction? Will be 3 years before commencement. Maximum pre-commencement ka deduction will be for 3 years. Abbe, who are you? Vasikaran? Ke 10 saal se you are making a robot. There is a limit of doing research. Aisa kaisa research you are doing? Ke it is never getting over only. So how many years ka we will, dekho, you can do research for 10 years also. But we will give you deduction for maximum 3 years. To take an example, supposingly your business has commenced in the current year on 1st October 22. So can I say current year ka you will get deduction of revenue on the left side and capital on the right side? But pre-commencement mein you will get maximum 1st October 19, say 30th September 22, only last 3 years. Any expense incurred before 3 years prior to commencement. Mark my words. Before 3 years prior to commencement, matlab before this date, wo not allowed. Are we allowing pre-commencement? With a time set, a time limit of 3 years. Before that, you will not get any deduction. Is that clear? Full point. Same. Except, what is the only difference between, till now, the only difference between the left side and the right side is revenue and capital, and that still remains the difference. Nothing else. Till now. Okay. So, now I change my teaching. Revenue or capital. Current year or last 3 years. Now I won't say pre-commencement. I will say last 3 years. Revenue or capital. Current year or last 3 years. 100% deduction. If own business, scientific research. Chaliye. Next point D. Are we giving you deduction of pre-commencement expenses? that will exclude any perquisites provided to employees. And same point is applicable here also. Pre-commencement expenses will exclude perquisites to employees. So what is perquisite? हमको कोई idea है? Non-monetary benefits provided to employees over and above salary. First, I will explain the meaning of this point, then the logic of this point, and then institute will take your case. Institute will play with you dirty games. How? Step by step. You are in your pre-commencement period. We allow deduction on income during that period, subject to 3 years. But in that period, if you have provided any perquisites to your employees, we will not give you deduction of that. That's the meaning of the point. Pre-commencement expenses will be allowed up to 3 years, but not including perquisites to employees. So true or false? Giving perquisite to employees during pre-commencement period is not allowed. It is allowed. So what is not allowed? Deduction will not be allowed. Very good. Sir, logic kya? You've understood the meaning, but sir, logic kya? You are in your pre-commencement period. You are not even sure whether your experiment will succeed or no. If it does not succeed, you are going to shut shop. Gadede, खुद का खाने का वांदा है. You don't know what is your future, and you are providing गाड़ी बंगला to your employees. Salary you have to give. Free में nobody will work. But you want to give गाड़ी बंगला. There is a big question mark on your future, and you are giving perquisites to employees. And give if you want to. We won't give you deduction of those expenses. Same thing over here. But simple hai. If the employee is taking anything on rent and giving you, so it becomes revenue expense. And if he is buying the car and giving you, so it becomes capital expense. This way or that way. Pre-commencement period mein not allowed. Logic is clear. Why not allowed? Correct or no? Now I have some questions for you. Material purchased during the current year, will it be allowed as a deduction?
Yes.
Material purchase in the pre-commencement period. Last 3 years. Beyond 3 years? Hey, beyond 3 years, nothing is allowed. Me asking you is also wastage of time. When we ask pre-commencement, matlab 3 years is my assumption. Okay? More than 3 years, nothing is allowed. By now we are clear on that. So we are talking about last 3 years. Material purchase, current year? Allowed. Last 3 years? Salary paid in the current year? But last 3 years? Pre-commencement. Huh? Huh? Gaadi bangla is not compulsory, but salary you have to give. But they will give you salary of the pre-commencement period. And you will think your pre-commencement mein to no, nahi, it is allowed. ठीक है. Very good. Perquisites provided to the employees in the current year. हाँ, मिलेगा कि नहीं? मतलब there is never a prohibition for you to provide, so you can do at any time. My question is about deduction only. Why नहीं? और why yes? ये perquisites है ना? क्या yes? Perquisites सुनो are excluded in the pre-commencement period. Once you commence, that means you are sure of yourself. So you provide and we give you deduction. Samjha where institute will play with you? Or let me put it this way. Once business starts, all expenses, including perquisites, will be allowed. And last 3 years, beyond 3 years, so nothing is allowed. Last 3 years, all expenses, including salary, only excluding, everything will be allowed. Means only disallowance is last 3 years perquisite, last 3 years perquisite, last 3 years mein other than perquisite, everything including salary is allowed. And current year mein to perquisite also is allowed. Pre-commencement perquisite, pre-commencement perquisite, pre-commencement perquisite. That combo is disallowed. Abhi samjha? Samjha meaning, logic, and why this is allowed? Sir, we have started business. That means we are sure of our future. We have to retain our good employees. Retention of good employees is not an easy task. If they don't get the correct atmosphere, they are not going to continue. So we need to provide them things that will keep them motivated. So pre-commencement will exclude perquisites to employees. Is that clear? Chaliye. Can I say all points till now are same except capital and revenue? Last point is different. मतलब left side का own point and right side का own point, no connection between it. एकदम independent point. एकदम independent. Okay. On the left side they say the maximum deduction will be the amount certified by prescribed authority. And if you want to know who has the government prescribed for that, this is for your knowledge, irrelevant for exam. Government of India का Department of Science and Research department, उसका secretary of that department is the eligible person or the prescribed person. That is not important. Understand what is this point, what is the meaning, what is the logic, and once again how institute will play dirty games with you. All that chronologically. When you are incurring some expense, you need to justify it with results. You can't do stupid experiments and come with huge expenses and claim that as deduction. इसके ऊपर एक story था. I don't know whether you have heard this story in your school days. The frog and the scientist. No? Once a scientist brought a frog in his lab. फ्रॉग रे हिंदी में क्या बोलते हैं? मेंढक. वो मराठी में क्या बोलते हैं? मेढक. He pushes himself down on the earth and legs are like spring, so he can jump एकदम high in the air. So scientist brings him to the lab, tells him jump. वो jump किया. Wow. He cuts one leg. बोलता jump. He again jumps. Second leg cut करके he again jumps. Third leg cut करके with the support of one leg, not very high but he jumps. Fourth leg cut करके now he is lying flat. Jump, jump, jump. He is not jumping. Scientists का report conclusion: when all four legs of a frog are chopped, when all four legs of a frog are chopped, it becomes deaf. It is not listening. No? It becomes exactly what you heard. You are not deaf. Exactly what you heard. It becomes deaf. बोले सर कितना सर ये इसके लिए आया इनका 10 करोड़ का एक्सपेंस. 2 tight slaps you will get. You should bring results which justify the expense, which is why amount certified. Something similar to your contract costing. Certified, uncertified, only certified amount ka deduction you will be getting to the extent certified. Correct? Correct? So if you incur expense of 10 lakh, but it is only 7 lakh is certified, so deduction will be only of 7. Is the meaning as well as the logic clear? What you need to know is this condition is only and only under 35(1)(1). This is not there anywhere in the section. This is not there here. A point T of capital expense is independent point, irrelevant here. Matlab not related to this. So what institute does? ध्यान से सुनो. They ask you question on capital expense. They said this purchase, that so many things purchased, and last minute they add a line that the prescribed authority has not certified these expenses. Because the prescribed authority has not certified these expenses, so iska deduction. Why? And the requirement of certification is only under 1, which is revenue. The capital expenditure, if you have incurred, you have the asset in front of you. No one can deny that you purchased an asset. Correct or no? But revenue expenditure ka day-to-day ka detail we cannot keep. We will check whether your results are justifying it or not. So remember that there are 6 more parts in this section. Totally 7, no? They are 2 aisa, 2 ke jaisa ka jaisa. We have got 5 more. And all of them are not allowed in the new regime. But we right now have to learn all 7. The requirement of certification is not there anywhere else, only here. Understood where they will play games with you? चलिए, तो till now everything was same except that it was revenue and capital, but last point is different. Last point में certification is required only for revenue and capital में they have not kept this certification का requirement as I already told you, but it has got its own 2 points. Point number 1, no deduction of land. Now I don't need to tell you that देखो land is a capital expenditure, but land is not an expenditure, it is an investment, which is why we don't get depreciation deduction. Throughout the chapter, wherever you study land का deduction, so you will not get. Okay. Second, if you take the deduction of 35(2), मतलब other than land you can take assets के ऊपर deduction, no? Building का you can take deduction, furniture, plant and machinery का you can take deduction. Correct or no? You will not get any other deduction. When we write you will not get any other deduction, precisely our target is that then on that asset you can't take depreciation again. Example, depreciation. Imagine karo, you purchase a building for scientific research. Is it owned and used? Owned and used. Normally we charge 10% depreciation. But on the cost of this building, if you have taken 100% deduction because it is scientific research, other than land, everything is allowed. So 100% deduction is already taken. How can you take depreciation again? So no other deduction. Logic is clear. When we write no other deduction, what is our target? What is our target? Depreciation ka deduction won't be allowed because you are already taking full cost of the asset as deduction. Makes sense? So double deduction to nahi hoga. And I always, so many years, I have been writing this point, explaining it to students. Okay, if you have taken capital expenditure का deduction, so you won't get any other deduction. एक दिन एक CA final का student came and asked me. There was a sum in which I did scientific research का 35(2) का deduction. ठीक है? I gave that. Obviously on that asset, will I calculate depreciation? No. Which is when you can say that you have understood the point. That student came and asked me, sir, in this sum, why have we given the deduction of section 30, 31, 32? I said, these are business expenses. You will get deduction. Sir, but you have taught us, no, that once an assessee takes this, so he does not get any other deduction. मेरे को रिक्स मांगता ही नहीं. You know what that student thought therefore? कि if you take 35(2) मतलब PGBP में all expenses become disallowed. सर आपने तो बोला no other deduction, तो फिर PGBP में कुछ भी नहीं मिलेगा. वो तो मेरे को तो लगता है कि if that sum contain other heads of income, तो वो तो सैलरी का स्टैंडर्ड डिडक्शन और हाउस प्रॉपर्टी का 30% एंड इंटरेस्ट भी डिसअलाउ कर देता, क्योंकि सर ने बोला ना no other deduction. NTTI में चैप्टर 6 का डिडक्शन नहीं देता बिकॉज सर सेड नो अदर डिडक्शन, बस तो ओनली 35(2) यू विल टेक. आई सेड तेरा जो भी माल था, आई वांट टू ट्राई इट वंस. मुझे भी वो वाला नशा करना है, एक बार ट्राई करना है. इट्स अ सैटरडे इवनिंग टुमारो, वी कैन इफ वी वांट. बेस्ट पार्ट ड्यूरिंग द वीक, नो, यू ऑल हैव संडे मॉर्निंग लेक्चर बट 10 o'clock, नो. अच्छा, by the way, you consume stuff on any evening, next day morning, you don't have to get up very early. Your class starts directly at 1 o'clock. And college, so you all don't go only. हाँ, for नहीं, but 1 बजे तक किसी का हैंगओवर इतना भी नहीं कंज्यूम करने का. देख, no one has hangover till 1 o'clock. ठीक है?
Somewhat like that of the government to give you some subsidy for the asset, so you will take उसका भी remove from the cost.
You want to apply that analogy, you can apply, but actually it is not that. Actually में कैसा है, there what is the net expense from your pocket? You get that deduction. And इधर कैसा है, whatever is your expense, we give you full deduction at one go, then you can't keep on claiming that depreciation. It is as good as WDV has become 0. Think about that. मतलब we are giving you deduction, but only once. No, how can you take again and again? And full deduction ले लिया because this is 100% deduction. No, hello. So then you can't take depreciation. Or may I put it this way, that section 35 का value addition therefore net में does not become 100%. Think about it. If I purchase building for 1 lakh, normally I get 10,000 का depreciation. But if it is scientific research का business, I will get 1 lakh का deduction. तो सुनो, this section is not making 0 का 1 lakh, it is making 10,000 का 1 lakh. Extra I am getting only 90, no? Extra I am getting only 100 minus depreciation. Only because that I would have anyways got, even if I was not doing scientific research. Correct के नहीं? तो मित्रों, ठीक है, ये सब लॉजिक की बातें है. प्रोविजन इज दिस आर द फर्स्ट 2 points ऑफ सेक्शन 35. क्लियर टू एवरीवन? चलिए, वेरी गुड. नेक्स्ट, सेक्शन 35(1)(2), सेक्शन 35(1)(3) and section 35(2)(AA). 3 will be done together because they are majorly same. Suno, there will be some common points in them. I will start writing from here right up to here. Anything which is common पूरा. Obviously there will be some difference also. तो इसका इसके नीचे, इसका इसके नीचे, इसका इसके नीचे, ऐसे we will be writing. Is that clear? What is the first point? This is basically a contribution. This is not an expense. It is a donation. This is a donation that you have given. किसको? You have given donation to any approved. It has to be approved. मतलब ऐसा नहीं कि रास्ते पे you give donation to someone. To an approved college, university. Are you comfortable if I write the short form? Association or institution. Approved college, university, association or institution. So this is applicable for 35(1), 2 and 3. And यहाँ पे it is 2. 2 मतलब इसके आगे का part is different. अच्छा पूरा ही लिख देता हूं, छोड़ो. This is contribution. Contribution मतलब not an expense but in the nature of donation. किसको? To not छोटा मोटा चिंटू पिंटू college. You have given donation to the national laboratory. पहले आंसर ये करो. Was there a laboratory in your school? College में तो you are commerce students, so you must have not seen. School में lab. Who was owner of that lab? LOL. So if government of India wants to do experiment, it will not take your school ka science lab on rent. They have their own lab. This time you have not given contribution to any chintu pintu college. You have given directly to national laboratory. You have given contribution to the premier engineering college of the country, that is IIT. Or you have given donation to any university, but for what purpose? For approved scientific research. तो डिफरेंस यही था historically. Here the institution, the college, the university has to be approved, and here the research program that you are doing has to be approved. That was the difference. But क्या है? Earlier it mattered because यहाँ पे it was 175, यहाँ पे it was 125, यहाँ पे it was 200. What I started when I started the section. You know what is the deduction in all the sections, all the 7 parts? So this becomes totally irrelevant now. In short, read this as one line. We have given donation to an organization for doing research. Donation. This is strictly in the nature of donation का है. It is in the nature of मित्रों क्या? ये donation है. And the second point is making it clear that this donation that you give may or may not be related to your business or profession. Let's be clear. Normally we get deduction of any expense only if it is incurred for our business. Last time also the experiment done by whether it was Hindustan Unilever or Procter & Gamble, Daag Jai par Rang Na Jai, but it was done for own business. This time you are such a kind-hearted assessee. You have given such a donation. It has got nothing to do with your business or profession. And that is why it is called contribution. If it was for your business, to suno, then in that case we use the word. But when it is not related to your business, we call it a contribution. And I have been saying this since I started the second part of 35. donation, 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 donation. Think about it. I am a qualified chartered accountant. You don't have to think, that is the reality. I am a qualified chartered accountant. I maybe studied in a commerce college. I was a science student in 11th standard. I hated my science teachers because they were not good to weak students. And I anyways wanted to do CA only. I was forced into the science stream. But I did not like the ambience of that laboratory where every day it took 4 hours practicals and 8 hours theories. So school mein also I had never attended class. 11th standard mein all friends are enjoying life and I am attending college for 12 hours. And one lecture you miss, next lecture you don't understand, only you see stars in broad daylight. You don't understand anything that is happening in class. And every experiment ka objective, apparatus required, conclusion, all that had to be that thesis had to be written. मैं बोला ये क्या है? I was not liking it. ठीक है. Things changed for good. I came into commerce. I became a chartered accountant. In my degree college days, we had a subject called EVS in our BCom syllabus also. So we in our college had a professor of EVS in commerce who used to he was an environment enthusiast. So he used to perform experiments of climate change, of population density over the years, of noise pollution on festival days. Some people have a big problem with other people celebrating their festivals. तो ओके हा भोंगे वाजवले तर केव्हा आवाज येतो. भोंगे मीन्स लाउड स्पीकर्स. तो लाउड स्पीकर्स की वजह से व्हाट इज द वॉल्यूम. सो बेसिकली ड्यूरिंग नवरात्रि और गणेशोत्सव ही यूज्ड टू मेजर द नॉइज का डेसिबल लेवल्स. सेम थिंग कट टू दिवाली ही यूज्ड टू गो टू मरीन ड्राइव एंड चेक द एयर पोल्यूशन लेवल्स. ओके उस टाइम पे सोशल मीडिया था नहीं ना टू गाइड हिम कि ऐसा दूसरे फेस्टिवल में भी करके दिखा एक्सेट्रा एक्सेट्रा एक्सेट्रा. There was no such fight. India was such a peaceful country those days when there was no social media. Correct? But all these experiments, for anything you want to do in life, passion बाद में पैसा पहले. All this requires money. Correct? Now I am a qualified chartered accountant. I do require some research in my day-to-day work with the kind of changes which auntie brings in the law. If I am not perfect with the research, with the recent changes in the law, I will never be able to justice. I will be outdated within a few months if I am not up to date with the latest changes in the law. A tax professor is a lifetime student. And if I am not a good student of my subject, I can never be a good teacher. Yes, research is required, but not scientific research. There is no science, it's legal research. So I get an idea. In my college days, the infrastructure of the physics, chemistry, electronics, all labs was horrible. Plus, our EVS professor was a very nice guy, but he always required funding for his experiment and thesis. Let me give some donation to my alma mater, my college. Let me give some donation to my college or association, institution, university who will perform that research. It has got nothing to do with my CA practice or my CA coaching profession, which is point B. And that is the reason this is nothing but a donation. I have given nothing but a donation. But we want to encourage, promote such donations. And therefore, even if it is not related to your business or profession, you will get deduction. The difference between these assesses, these assesses in the top category, matlab category 1 where we studied 2 sections, and second part of section 35 where we are learning 3 sections. I am mentioning a difference. See if you understand. These guys are selfish. These guys are selfless. Why do I use such strong words? Batao. Why selfish?
Because they are doing it for their own.
And here they are contributing to others. इसीलिए here there was concept of weighted deduction. More deduction than what you incur. But as I said, Jetli ji has eliminated that. And this is also why new regime may we want to deny some benefits. But something that you have incurred for your own business, we cannot deny. This is allowed in new regime, but all this will not be allowed. One good thing is that in all the provisions, now it is 100% deduction. So this becomes very easy for me. Okay. What is the difference of 35(2AA? That we have understood. Okay, if the payee, matlab the receiver is National Laboratory or IIT, so it is that part. But till now, if you observe, between these two, we have not done any difference. No? Correct or no? So in dono ka kya difference? The difference was only this much. This is if you are giving the college for scientific research. Matlab if I give my college for the physics, chemistry or electronic lab ka improvement. And this is given for statistical or social science research. Iska to we have already written here, but just for comparison purposes, let me write it one more time. This is scientific only. So this was always scientific. Matlab 35(1)(2) was always scientific. This was always scientific, but this was always statistical and social science. Iske andar it was 175. Iske andar it was 125. Iske andar it was 200. It was a very complicated provision 2 years ago. All thanks to Jetli ji. Everything is 100. You are so sorted. You don't have to use your brain. Once there is anything related to research, scientific research is similar to your Daag Jai Par Rang Na Jai or your laboratory ka improvements. And statistical research is what I was talking about. Rainfall change. What was the highest rainfall last year, current year? You know, many a times you read in newspapers, the wettest day in October over the last 12 years. वो कुछ भी लिख दे तो तुमको क्या बोले last 12 की जगह पे 22 लिख दे. How does it matter? We just know कि कल बहुत बारिश हुआ था. Correct or no? But there is someone who is keeping that data by doing research. It is important to do planning. Acha, October maybe so much rain comes. We need to be prepared next year. Till October. You know, when monsoon is about to start, monsoon related works take place. They put those sheds in a lot of open places. Okay. So don't remove them before October, because now October is also getting such rainfall. Are you understanding? That is required. Demographic information. That if I ask you in Mumbai ka Dadar area, what is the population from 0 to 18, from 18 to 50 and 50 and above? That helps to implement government plans in that particular geography. In fact, we live in a country called India. Age se jada in this part of the city, which community ka people live, and in this part which community ka people live, that helps the government to decide who should be their election candidate. Go to South Mumbai or Ghatkopar, they have to give a ticket to Ghatkopar mein Gujarati and South Mumbai mein Marwadi. But that same thing when it comes to the Dadar Lalbagh Parel area, they have to give it to a Maharashtrian. Thoda sa between South Mumbai and Lalbagh you go, so if it is Vaikala area, so they have to give it to a Muslim. And that is also required because based on the geography, it's not a problem of the government. Our deputy CM was recently only, he was asked by a news channel, okay, your party gave ticket to people with criminal background or this, aisa uske against cases are there. Why you gave ticket? He said people vote for him. What do I do? Toch nivdun yeto is what he said in Marathi. Well, people vote for him, so what do I do? I need people from my party to win election so that I can form the government. No. If people were so educated and informed, then they should not vote for people who are from criminal background. But better your history in crime is higher your probability of winning election. So what will they also do? All that data is statistical or scientific. And of course, ye pollution ka data and all that which I was talking about. Everything is important. But this was a little less important. So isme they used to give 125, isme 175. And here observe karo, receiver is government. Because National Laboratory, IITs are also under control of government. So 200. But all that problem is solved in your life. So finally, is the difference between the three clear?
Yes.
Chaliye, last point. If, and common point across hai, if after contribution, the approval is cancelled. Dekho, all throughout we have been saying, that the college has to be approved. The research has to be approved. The approval is cancelled. For some reason, the government found out that they are doing some illegal, immoral activity which should not be done, which is why the approval granted has been cancelled, withdrawn. Means you are giving donation to a college which had to be approved college. And now the approval is withdrawn. To hell with the college. What will happen to your deduction? Tick or cross is what I want to know. If approval is cancelled, the deduction. Those who think available will now loudly shout, take. Cancel approval still. Those who think approval cancel, change kya answer? You said cross earlier. Abhi tick bola. Those who think not given because approval is cancelled, approval is an essential condition, will shout cross now.
Cross.
Bata kyun? More than that. More than that. Most important word here. See, the day when you give the donation, on that day it should be an approved college. The subsequent cancellation is not in my control. ऐसा नहीं. If it was already cancelled, then you give, तो गलती आपका है. After में it is not the fault of the giver. So how does it get implemented? Go to income tax ka website today only. You will get a list of institutions. Today the name is there. Give the donation. And tomorrow it gets cancelled. Not your problem. But tomorrow if it gets cancelled, then you give. So it is your problem. Then you won't get the deduction. आप समझा क्या? Everyone understood why tick? Because the most important word after. Well, these were your 3 parts of section 35. And I don't know whether I should tell you this, because anyways we have not studied old rates or new rates. But just that all these will not be allowed in the new regime. New regime में only the top 2 will be allowed. जिस दिन हम लोग tax rates करेंगे ना, it is better that we talk about old and new at that time. Only if we had to talk about tax rates, then we could have talked in the introduction chapter itself. It was a conscious decision to not do tax rates earlier and then let that remain. All right, which will bring us to the last 2 parts. Section 35(1) 2A. Sorry, section 35 left side pe I will do 2AB. And section 35(1) 2A. They are related with each other, just like the top 2, own business only, revenue and capital ka difference. The next 3, all in the nature of contribution. So, we'll do them one by one. First, 35(2AB) is allowed only to Indian company. ठीक है sir. इसका मतलब individual HUF firm, LLP, etc. will not be allowed. Very easy to understand. If this is allowed only to Indian company. More important to note and understand. This also means, listen carefully. 35(1)(1), 35(2), 35(1)(2), 1(3), 35(2)AA, all that we have studied, that will be allowed to individual, HUF, AOP, BOI, company, firm, LLP, everyone. Where there is a restriction on the assessee, has it been specifically mentioned that this deduction is only for company? Is it mentioned here in 35(2)? In 35(2)AB, where they wanted to keep restriction on the assessee, have they mentioned that it is allowed only to one particular assessee? Yes, they have. बराबर है क्या नहीं? Which also means that in the other places they wanted to not keep any restriction. They did not want to keep any restriction. And just tell me this: the other sections are allowed to which assessee? All assessees. क्योंकि restriction is only in 35(2)AB. What mahan work this company has done? This company has done in-house scientific research and development. In-house ki. Obviously, if it is in-house, it has to be own business, mitro. You need to understand it has to be own business. तुम क्या पागल है क्या? That मतलब you are doing CA का profession, तो कॉलेज को you are saying don't worry, I will do the research and give you. Maximum you give donation. If you are doing the research yourself, that means it has to be for your own business. There is a little difference between the assessees here. Were they also doing it for own business? Correct है? Little difference ये है that ऊपर वाला assessees can also outsource it to others. मतलब I want to do research for my own business. लगा ये scientist, is your laboratory free for one day? Do this experiment and give me. I have to pay you one day का lab charges and one day का professional fees as a scientist. If my experiment fails, that one day का expense is my loss. Cut to this provision, you purchase your own land. सुनो ध्यान से. On that land, make your own laboratory. This time there will be a scientist who is not an independent professional, your own employee, full-time salary. This time all the equipment and apparatus of the laboratory will be purchased by you. Not that he has already purchased and using it for you for one day. You have to purchase it because everything will be done in-house. We are not going to outsource any task to an independent party. Everything will be under our brand, under our name. The research will be under our name. The invention will be registered, patented in our name. For activities like medicine, matlab pharmacy or yes, you have to do secret research. If you tell a scientist to do the research, he will probably leak the formula. Then what will you do? Okay. So this is for obviously your own business. And you need to understand that there is a very big risk in this compared to the upar wala provision. That was also own business. This is also own business. But this is riskier because there if the experiment fails, your one day ka fees is wasted. Here if the experiment fails, apparatus buying is expensive and throwing is, basically at a loss only. Losses will be huge. इसीलिए we used to give to these companies 200% deduction. Normally weighted deduction was only for selfless people. ये selfish है. Selfish लोगों के लिए we have only 100% deduction. But because of the risk factor, we used to give 200. But that is eliminated now. Now what will we give? 100% deduction of your capital as well as revenue. Matlab, in other words, outsourced also 100, in-house also 100. Outsourced mein capital revenue are separate sections. In-house mein they are in one section. We will give you full deduction of capital as well as revenue. Correct? Because of the risk involved here. But for capital expense, no other deduction. Now tell me what is my target when I say this. Now don't disappoint me. That is depreciation. Are we also clear when I say no other deduction? मतलब PGBP में कुछ भी नहीं मिलेगा. Or for this expense you won't get any. ठीक है? And also there will be no deduction of land and building. Land के लिए तो no need to tell you the logic. Never a deduction. It is never an expense. Always an investment. Building के लिए why no deduction? Because we are giving you a huge deduction considering the risk involved. Building is an immovable property. Even if your experiment fails, you don't have to throw it away. Apparatus has to be thrown away. Scientist ka salary will become waste. Building will not become waste. It is immovable property. It can appreciate in value. So building ka no deduction. So no deduction of land and building both. Everybody understood logic also? I am asking you some expenses. You will tell me how much deduction will be allowed. Earlier, no, student had to calculate 175 kitna hota hai, 200 kitna hota hai. Now to the expense only becomes the deduction. You don't have to calculate, just tell me the rupees. I spend for material 5 lakh rupees. In-house scientific research. In-house scientific research. So first of all, I am Indian company. For in-house scientific research, I spend 5 lakh material. 5. 8 lakh ka salary. 15 lakh ka furniture. 20 lakh का apparatus, 80 lakhs का land, no deduction. उसके ऊपर 1 crore का building, पोपट Is it capital expenditure, own business, scientific research, 100% deduction. Current year or pre-commencement up to 3 years, except perquisite provided to employees. If you take this, no depreciation, and it is going to be allowed in 35(2). Earlier I used to teach students essay. Land ka no deduction. Building you can't get weighted but take 100, and all other expenses take weighted deduction. Now, except land, everything, whether you put them here or upar wala section, except land, everything ka 100. Actually, after Jaitley ji has resolved this whole issue only, this section is not required only. Because what I am getting here, anyways I can get, even if this section is not. Okay. We can't remove upper wala section thinking that idhar mil jayega. Okay, building you get only there. Achha, outsource expenditure you get only there. This will give you only in-house. That is a little open section. No, anything that is relevant will give you for your business, whether in-house or outsource. So that will take care of this. Even if we delete, no, assessee will not get affected. And when there was a little difference also, at that time building ka point was more important. How important? Here you won't get building, but that building you can transfer there. Land you won't get at both places. Other expenses you can take here. But now except land, everything will be 100%. Understood? What alertness was expected? Some are like, sir, 3 ghante baad mein don't expect also. No problem. Let's go to this. Once again, it is in the nature of contribution. Contribution matlab donation, donation, donation. And the moment we write contribution anywhere, you know what? Second point becomes may or may not be related to your business or profession, because then only we will use the word contribution. Otherwise, we will use expense. Correct or no? This is contribution. This is donation. Kisko? Donation to Indian company. You have given donation to an Indian company which is doing in-house scientific R&D. ये company किधर देखेला सुनेला. Is it a familiar company? Have we come across this company somewhere before? Where? यही तो है. मतलब I have given donation to this company. I can be anyone. In the entire section, there is only one place where assessee is defined, and that's 35(2)(ab). I can be an individual giving donation to this company, and this is only donation. It is not my business expense. Still, to promote research, we will get 100% deduction. Mitro, this was also 125. But as you are aware about the good thing, everything is 100. So 100% deduction, even if it is not related to your business. Is that understood? With a condition that if the donor takes 35(1)(2)(a, I am giving donation to the company, so I will take 35(1)(2)(a) ka 100%. In that case, the company will not get 35(2)(ab). It is that same company, no? The company will not get 35(2)(a). The logic क्या है? Imagine करो, I want to start a company. I contribute capital and start. Don't contribute capital, give donation. Normally, if you buy shares in a company, do you get any expense ka deduction? No. But if I give that same money in the form of donation, I will get tax benefit. And same money company will spend. Company will also get tax benefit. You understood? Understood? मतलब same money ka 2 people are taking deduction. Correct or no? हाँ. So, we will not allow that double deduction. If donor takes deduction, so company will not get. And if you want to give company the deduction, so donor will not get. ये clear है? Any one of them? चलिए. Earlier, this used to be 125% and this used to be 200. So I used to ask students, आपको क्या लगता है? Who will take? In real life, anyone is allowed. So who will take? अच्छा. But now to that 125-200 का difference is eliminated. Both are 100. What do you think? Who will take? Why? उस डोनेशन के लिए वी आर गिविंग टैक्स बेनिफिट. ये बढ़िया था गुरु. Some students are excessively clever. वो क्या बोलता पता है? Sir, the donor can be individual falling in lower tax rate. Company will be having higher tax rate. तो company. वैसे भी earlier it was 200. मैं बोला सब नशे वाली बातें हैं. Don't do this. Supposingly I am the donor to a company. I give donation to the company. Company spending that money. We have an option. Either I take this or company takes this. If company takes this, तो I don't get this. तो क्या लिखा है मेरे सिर पे that I will give donation to that company? क्या लिखा है मेरे सिर पे? If I give donation and I don't get tax benefit also of that donation, why will I give donation? Why will I give? Even when it was 200, no, I will take this only, and company will not get. आप समझा क्या? Otherwise, donor will have no motivation. फिलैंथ्रोपी करना है तो गिव मनी टू चैरिटेबल ट्रस्ट, नॉट टू कंपनीज. पागल जैसा बात मत कर. अंडरस्टूड? सो इन प्रैक्टिकल लाइफ हु विल टेक ऑल डिडक्शंस? द डोनर. एंड देयरफॉर कंपनी को कोई डिडक्शन पोपट. बट नहीं, वो तो डिपेंड करता है ना कंपनी का एक्सपेंस इज रेवेन्यू के कैपिटल. इफ रेवेन्यू तो 3511, if capital to 35 to. Earlier it mattered. देखो कंपनी टेक्स ईयर तो 200 बट ईयर तो 100. अभी एक बात बताओ, कंपनी नॉट गेटिंग दिस बट गेटिंग दिस, हाउ डज इट मैटर? बोथ प्लेसेस इट इज 100 only. If not company is like, okay, I'll not take this, I'll take, anyways company is going to get 100% only. So honestly speaking, with everything becoming 100%, देखो donor will take here and company can take ऊपर. As of now, what is immediately required is just delete this part. It is not required because without this also we can survive. Okay, and if at all donor has to give it to college, association, institution. Company will take care of itself in 3511 and 35. आप समझा क्या? Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, deviyo sajjano and mitro, that was our section 35, the deduction for scientific as well as statistical. We've covered both. The deduction for research hereby gets over, and which also means that along with the 32, we have completed one more big. Nothing is as big as 32. That to went into 3 lectures. Okay, nothing is as big as 32, but second big section 35 also done. Now we have only one big section 35 AD, which coincidentally also is the very next thing. क्योंकि ABB and ABA, as I told you, are removed from syllabus. So alphabetically AD only comes, which is big, and once that is done, everything is small. So you can say about 2.5 lectures for finishing the theory, and another 2 lectures. मतलब total 5 lectures maximum के अंदर PGBP gets over, which is next Monday to Friday, because next lecture is Monday to Friday. Friday तक PGBP gets over. And it also reminds me that have you all received full week का timetable? Yes, sir. What do you have after me on Monday? Test. And Tuesday also? Yes. Shabash. Test you start writing at 4:30 or 5:30. You have to write for 1.5 hours. Yes, sir. So as of now, see you at the start time of Monday, that is 1 o'clock. वीडियो भी पॉज करने दो.